Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the final round. And this evening we've got 4 races for you. We've got 2 from Rookie Split Black and 2 of the top split races, and we'll finally get to work out who will be your band from Season 1, live from the circuit to Catalonia. And as ever, I'm joined in the commentary booth on a Sunday evening by the one and only Gareth Ronda. How are you doing, Gareth?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Excited to see some more racing today. It's been a packed day of racing in all series, so
yeah, exactly.
Looking for some more fun.
Hopefully, we're having at least one race as good as the other 2, or the 2 races I've watched today. Anyway,
absolutely. IMSA's been mad too, so it's looking good so far.
Looking good for an action-packed day of racing. How's your week been? We've not caught up since last Sunday. How have you been?
It's been very good. I'm looking forward to a lot of sim racing, especially next week, but in the sort of near future with more different people joining SGP to host races, and a lot of stuff going on with a lot of our boys joining the RCI races, and then some of the packed schedule we have between this and next season is going to be exciting as well. Yeah, exactly. So like the schedule, which I might bring up shortly in a second. The schedule for next week is after today. All of the admins and staff have got a week off. It doesn't mean you can burn the server down. You normal hammer dudes in the background. We will still be in the server, but it means we've got a week off of planning races and nothing coming from ACC Sprint Series next week, as we all take some time to rest and recuperate and then get into an action-packed. I think there's actually 7 days of racing the week after, because there's Monday to Friday is all evaluation races, and then the season starts on Saturday. No, Bathurst is on Sunday, isn't it? So yeah, we get the Saturday off. Yeah, something like that. But we've got an action-packed week after for you. But yeah, like we said, we're heading into... we're going to start with Rookie Split Black, and then we're going to go on to Top Split. So who are our ones... Actually, let's have a look at where we actually are. I've jumped a gun. I've jumped a button on my screen. And like I said, we're at the circuit to Catalonia for this weekend. And we're just going to take you on a short little tour if you're unfamiliar with the track. So here it comes. Gentlemen, we've made it to the final round of the Championship Series, and it finds us here at the circuit to Catalonia in Barcelona. Our drivers are going to be foot to the floor through the first sector as they decide if they want to sacrifice their turn-free entry for a good line through turn 1 and 2. We then head to the more technical parts of sector 2 with the long right-hander of Campsa, where some drivers may get a little touch on their brake pedals and some may just lift off the loud pedal to get them round the right-hander. Our drivers will want to pick up some speed before being welcomed into the final sector by the hairpin turn 10, and that leads us all the way into the breaker of suspensions that is the curbs of the final chicane. If our drivers can get the exit right, you could be looking to challenge the lap records held by David Jessett in qualifying and Robert Brining during the race. Who will take the crown and who will be your band? We'll find out together live on ACC Sprint Series. So there we go then, we've taken you on a tour of this week round 5 circuit, and here are our ones to watch this evening. So I've gone for Emil Prandana in the Porsche 991. They are one win off of automatic promotion, or they're going to find themselves in the rookie split next season because they're not really in contention of hitting the top 3. Who have you gone for, Gareth? Can you remember? I have gone for Florian Goldenitz. The other Florian in our league is very fast, so by name recognition he should be fast too, and he's had some decent pace, although he's made a few mistakes, so hopefully he can calm those down and we can see a good performance from him.
Excellent stuff. Lars has gone for himself because apparently he's awesome. We'll see if that comes true in this evening's race, and you can go through who Julian has picked for the evening.
Julian has gone for Diggs, which... actually was going to be my pick before I saw that Julian already picked him, because he's been doing really consistently well. But in this, I believe he's just behind in the Battle of the Americas right now with him and Doherty. And it'll be good to see if he can get into the top 3 and get himself promoted into the top split.
Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head where they were leading into this round. Unfortunately, we can't show you the standings before round 4 because... We've already had round 4. We had round 4. We had round 5 last night.
Pretty sure Doherty was second and Diggs was fourth.
Yeah, so that was
that's what I was going to pick him.
That's what the standings were looking like as we head into the race. And I mean, it's been an absolutely action-packed season. I mean, I've been driving in this split as people have been seeing. That's why we use the replays. And actually, the grid size is much better. We've got the reputation of being the dirtiest group in ACCSS because of how many penalties we get. But we are also the largest grid in ACCSS with 30 drivers regularly taking part. When we've got 36 signed up. So I mean, the penalties come with the driver numbers, I suppose, but it's all been good fun in the end. What we're going to do is we're going to take you through. I'll have a quick look at. We've got a qualification side by side of Friday's pole sitter Tim Seisland against the pole sitter for today, who I won't spoil before I start the video, which I nearly just did. And then we'll jump straight into the race itself. So let's go ahead and have a little look at the qualification battle of these two drivers. And I believe you'll have to watch it on stream, Gareth, if you can't see it already. We've got Tim Seisland in the Porsche 991 against Max Diggs in the McLaren. So Max took pole for the Saturday split, which you're about to see. We're absolutely with a really good time of a 1:44.970, and you can find while these two cars go as they're side by side, you can see the very slight differences as you can see now between the Porsche and the McLaren. But Tim's in fourth going around turn 3, whereas Max decided to drop it down into third, similar to the style that I would have gone for. But I mean, what would you notice between the two different cars, Gareth, the McLaren and the Porsche? What would be the pros of each and versus the cons of each?
The McLaren seems like a really easy car to drive. A lot of people have been saying it's a very good beginner's car because of this. The default setups are nice and safe overall. But to get speed out of it, you really need to be brave in throwing it into corners. The Porsche is a good car in default setups just for how speedy it can be. And when you play around with it a lot, it can be incredibly speedy. But it is one of those cars that just can decide that it wants to kill you. So not surprised to see the Porsche's got some legs on it. And Seisland did very well to control it and keep it going. We can see already that I think Diggs lost a lot of his time on the earlier part of the lap. You can already see that Seisland's a good bit ahead going into all of these corners. This is also obviously the last chicane, a place where you can lose a huge amount of time.
I think the start of the lap and the end of the lap were the two parts ideally, really where Seisland pulled ahead in that Porsche. As you can see, the gap between them was just over half a second between the two qualifiers. So what we're going to do now is we're going to show you what this is all for, because the end of the season event is coming up, and we're heading to Bathurst for 2.4 hours. So there we go then, ladies and gentlemen, and 2 seconds, that's why we switch over to the actual game stream itself. It should be coming over now. There we go. So we are in the out lap, or the formation lap, sorry, for race number 1. As I said, Max Diggs on pole. Yang was in P2. Myself, D. Terry, found himself on P3. Doherty found himself in P4. Then Dale Carter in P5. Finally got his name fixed. He's no longer Cart Door Ice Cream. He is now actually Dale Carter. Then we've got Matt Jones in P6, Eric Groom in P7, John Turner P8, Emil Prandana, my one to watch, is in P9, and then we've got Uric in P10. And the rest of the grid you can see on the screen, and we'll just scroll down just to catch the bottom of the order as well. So the back of the grid looks like Carstrop, Louis, Smeets, Hamal, Herzig, Clayton, Van Gastel, Meadows, Marsigler, Allen, Von Glan. So they're the last 10 spaces on the grid. And just looking at that order, Gareth, because it's the first time you've probably seen it, who surprised you really in qualifying? Who
Um,
without seeing their laps? Who's outstanding?
you're pretty high up there. It's a really good job from you. Not normally the lowest of drivers, but three is really good. Congrats on that. Good to see Petrov and Gorgstig up together in 13th and 14th. They're both old school ACCSS guys, been in there since the first race. Same with Nergard, actually. Mika Maninka is maybe a little bit low. Can be incredibly fast, that guy. So
Yeah, I think he was moving over. He was saying he was moving over from having his moving setup so during the week, which for me sounded a little odd. That he was jumping between one setup and the other setup as the cars start to go in a Noah's Ark formation through the last chicane. But yeah, I think there was definitely a few. Meadows surprised me of being that far down the order. I didn't expect him to be that far down the order. And like I said, Manika as well was definitely out of position. I think I stole his pace. So as we come round the final corner then, as we're about to go green. And let's wait for the drivers to cross the line then. And we're green then for race number 1. And there's collision straight off the back there between the two Porsches further down the order.
Oh, into the wall. That's a big one. And, oh, both back onto the circuit as well. That's huge. Cars spinning all about around the back. There is about 5 or 6 cars back there who
everyone's absolutely been caught up in that. There's lots and lots of carnage. We'll have to wait till we get to the first timing beam to see who's made it.
And at the front, everything's really clean. Oh, right until I say that, and there's a McLaren spinning around. That is Carter, I believe. Yeah, the green McLaren of Carter going around as Diggs takes a huge lead. Really strong start from him. Terry and Yang are fighting for second, with Doherty closed up behind them. So this is a nice little three-car battle going into the infield section of the track.
Yeah, absolute carnage from the start. It's really ruined a lot of our drivers as we cut the first timing beam as the drivers slowly catch up. And it's Diggs with the lead. Then he's followed by Yang, then Terry, then Doherty, then Jones, then Turner. Then as the order slowly starts to thin out, following the incidents, and quite a few of that.
Dana having a little run on Mika slightly further back, going side by side down the back straight.
There's also a battle behind between Petrov and Gardstig. Actually, that's Von Glan and Gardstig, I believe, as they see who looks down the inside.
Oh, and a big dive from a Ferrari there. Who is that? Van der Heck absolutely nails one of those Audis. Absolutely no way he should have managed to get that off. Jumps in between the two and is now ahead of Petrov and just behind Von Glan.
So there we go. So we're going to cross the line to complete the first lap. Diggs bringing us round the final corner. And then we'll be able to get an updated timing beam. We've still got some drivers here at the back that haven't managed to cross. A few return to garage for repairs. Haller, Eckendile, Meadows, I believe, is those 3 that are still stuck in the pit centre. As we cross the line, the grid looks like this. Diggs leads from Yang, from Doherty, and then it's into Terry, who's bending off a battle from Jones as he goes on the inside into turn 1. Really
Jones is getting a huge run down that straight. Shout out to his new full gold livery after his old livery was insulted for not being interesting enough on the last stream. So he decided to make it as flashy as he possibly could.
That wasn't from me, by the way. That wasn't from either of us. No. That was covered in Steve and Paul's race last Saturday in our special one-off stream of the Saturday edition. And Diggs has made out a massive gap now. He's up to 1.6 seconds ahead of Yang, who's a further 2 seconds effectively ahead of Doherty. And then the pack starts to bunch up. We've got a battle between Groom, Maninka trying to make his way through the order. Qualified P12s up to P8. And Prandana on the back of him then.
Yeah, Prandana's driving real spicy, looking for every opportunity, darting from side to side behind that Nissan.
We'll have a little look further down the order as there is a Ferrari off then. And that looked like it could have been Mars Sigler, or it was Nergard, was it, that was off in the dirt. Our last place qualifier, Carstrop, then finds himself in 23rd. Following all the action from the start. And some of our drivers still aren't moving from the repairs they had to get in the pit window. So let's have a look as the group bunch up into the hairpin with 6 cars in this middle of the split pack. And one of the Porsches, Uric, just slams his brakes on into the back of, I believe that's released Herzit. Yeah, it was Herzit that was caught up with Uric slamming his brakes on coming out the hairpin. Not too sure what happened there.
Yeah, it's a strange one.
He's come to a complete stop further around the track. I'm not too sure if he's had a tech issue or a disconnect?
Yeah, he's got back going, so he's definitely still in this, but he's in 20th now, just in front of Louis, so lost an absolute ton of places with that mistake.
We'll jump back to the front of the order then. Let's have a little look how they're going through turn 3. Diggs completely uncontested. He's opened the gap up to 1.6 seconds behind Doherty. And then we see the likes of Jones, Terry, Turner and Grom behind. As we head into 5. And there's Turner looking to get the run on Terry through turn number 4. And then we run into the awkward position of this weirdly sharper than I expected T5. It doesn't feel that tight on track, does it? And then you get up to it.
It definitely tightens halfway through.
Yeah, it's definitely tightens up the battle. So it's a little battle here for P5 between Terry, Turner, and Groom. We'll jump back into that one shortly.
Pretty aggressively as well.
So Prandana's got the job done on Maninka. So Prandana's up to 8. Maninka's in 9th. Von Glan finds himself in 10th. And further down the order, then we've got the battle of the between. It's between the Ferrari and the Porsche of Hamal. Oh no, Hamal's had an off. That's where it's from. I was trying to work out why that was not the car I clicked on. So it looks like it's between Nergard and Marsigler then as we head into the hairpin.
Absolutely, and I just got to say, I think it's Marsigler. A couple of these Ferraris are having huge braking into the end of the back straight, the second DRS zone in Formula 1. Multiple Ferraris I've seen now, it seems to just that corner for some reason seems to work for them. They're all gaining huge amounts in that braking zone alone. Marsigler was just doing it on Herzert, and earlier we saw Van der Heck doing it on Petrov. So don't know what it is about that corner, but
and we jump back up to this group of oars. Prandana nearly catches the back of Groom into T1. We jump onto this pack of 5 cars in the front of the order, still battling for 5th place on grid. We've had 5 minutes of the race so far. We're 4 laps deep. We have all the drivers starting to settle into how they're going to go. So the Boatley looks up the inside of the Lexus into 4. Lexus putting a solid defence on, making sure that there's not got a little bit loose on the exit though. And that's going to
wiggle there ruined his momentum absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, and Grom then.
Groom for it.
Groom's absolutely gone for it on the inside of 5, and that's just caught the inside of Terry and just said goodbye to both of their chances. That moves Turner then up into P5. The very, very patient Bentley driver. They're very experienced throughout the season. Has come on leaps and bounds in terms of the patience levels, and that's moved him all the way up into P5 with Groom. Further down the order, so we've got the battle for 5th is between Turner and Prandana, sorry. And then Maninka.
Prandana's an absolute rocket this race, diving down the inside of Turner into the hairpin and getting another place done. And now he's going to be off for Jones in 4th. And he is like belted away already. Yeah, he's already 2 corners were.
He's already opened the gap up. It's actually completely
it's crazy. Maninka as well doing a good job catching back up to this after being slowed down a bit, having Prandana overtake him, but he's now putting the pressure onto Turner as well, who's gone immediately from the hunter to the hunted.
Yeah, and where Groom has recovered himself into 12th, and he's now been caught up in a pack of Ferraris and Astons, and it's well, actually, Alan's the only Aston in a pack of 6 Ferraris between 11th and 17th, and as Groom runs wide, then moves into the pit lane, I assume to repair some damage taken on from a previous battle, and that's going to open the door for Marsigler then to step into 12th and lead this train of cars across the start-finish line. Have a little look where the back of the pack's really thinned out here. I mean, 22nd all the way down to 30th is just within minutes and laps of each other. So the battle's really just towards the front, and Yang's closed the gap up onto Diggs. He's only within a second of him now. Kunu Yang driving for Team Kunu.
Oh. Yang has really taken the hit out of that lead, hasn't he? That is impressive. Diggs was looking like doing his Hamilton impression out of here, just leaving the rest of the pack behind. But Yang is putting in a good fight. Good to see. Hopefully we can get a battle out of this later, as the next battle down the track is still Turner and Maninka, as Prandana has leaped away to catch up with his prey. Van der Heck very close to Godstig as well, in a very traditional looking Ferrari McLaren battle with the most on brand of liveries.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the small little pockets of duels going across the whole track, going from, like you said, the battle between Diggs and Yang at the top, and then you've got the battle in the couple of battles in the mid pack as a few drivers recovering from some early drama, especially if the start-finish drama. There's so many cars caught up in that. We have to maybe go back and have a look at that for later on. And if we look further down the group, it's this pack of 3 cars that I keeps coming to my attention, which is Marsiglia, Allen and Nergard. They're just battling it out throughout. They've all been within a second of each other for at least the past 2 or 3 laps.
And Maninka has just dived Turner into turn 1 and is now ahead of that battle. So he's going to try and catch up with Prandana. Hasn't had the same sort of turn of speed that Prandana has been clearly showing. Got overtaken by him reasonably easy earlier on, but he's definitely a fast driver and could make something of this.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jones, for renewing your subscription 2 months in a row. You're actually not only the first subscriber, you're the first one to have a 2-month badge. So, look at that. It's absolutely rocking it out. We have reached the subpocalypse, and we'll have a little shill later on to talk about the sort of things that Twitch are doing to new subs this season. And the battle is still... Well, the battle of... Alan must have had an incident, because he's dropped off the pack.
Ooh, there's an incident up at the front as it looks like Yang just hits Diggs going into the hairpin. They're both fine and they're both still continuing on. But Diggs got turned around on the nose of that silver Ferrari behind him. Oh, and you can see that Yang's taking bigger dives into every one of these braking zones as Groom now comes around just behind them. Must be a lap down after that pit stop for damage. Couple of back markers right behind our leaders now. Really going to be slowing down people like Jones, Doherty and Prandana from getting ahead. You can see in the
background. They're just trying to get around that back marker. I believe it's Clayton, that back marker.
Yeah, there's a couple of them, I think.
I think Anders Sekendal finds himself in front of... he's found himself... Yeah, he's just pulled out the gap between Doherty and Jones. And yeah, having back markers after 5 laps of race number 1 is a little scary, but like I said, the instance that happened at the start of the race has triggered it in. But Vanden Hex had a really nice run on the McLaren of Gardstick going down the start-finish straight. Not really much.
Jones dives Doherty, but he gets absolutely out of shape on turn 3. They're side by side now, so it is all about drive. Jones does have the inside, and so could carry on there. Excellent out the corner of the McLaren, which is where the Aston does suffer a little bit. Drives on there, but these back markers have forced these 3 together, so Jones, Prandana and Doherty are now having a free position fight up here at the front as Doherty takes that corner very slowly up there, did not get a good line, and is now definitely in danger of Prandana, although he shifts out to be a bit careful. It's a really nice run though, so he could dive into this hairpin, and with how aggressive he's been, absolutely he's taken that shot. Gets on the inside, hooks it right onto the apex, and easy peasy back to chasing Jones down.
Yes, I mean, like they're slowly getting there. Like the back markers, just cause Prandana has a little wiggle on the exit, or it's a big wiggle actually coming into the final sector and the chicane of the final sector. Anyway, he's really loose. It's like the tyres have just completely gone from underneath him, and it's thrown him off as another back marker in Carstrop comes into play with the front of the pack.
Looks like he's diving into pit lane as well for some sort of damage, as Yang is looking a little bit aggressively on the back of Diggs again. Not going to go for it into turn 1 this time, but again is just getting slightly more in every braking zone than the McLaren can.
Yeah, I just think that it's just so many little battles, and that's what I really like about this, how this season's panned itself out to be, is that little pockets of battles between certain drivers who know where they can test the waters now with certain drivers, and where they need to sort of give more room. As we can see, there's a lot of back markers in this pack here, but Marsiglia, Nergard, Allen, Spitz have all found themselves within a second of each other coming down the start finish as the back markers clear out the way. I believe actually what we were saying about there you go, as Lars in the background or Carstrop even leaves the pits. I believe from talking through memory, he gave himself a drive through not to cause any aggro to the cars in front of him. Was the thought behind that move. It wasn't to clear any damage or to take any pit stop.
Fair enough.
But yeah, he just found himself.
It's an interesting strategy, but it works.
I mean, hey-ho, each to their own at the end of the day. But this pack of 4 cars actually is a battle up at the front with Doherty looking to close down between Prandana. Yang's within a second of Diggs.
Yeah, Yang's been pretty consistent there. Jones is still stuck behind Groom at this point, not being able to get past that back marker. And this is slowly going to push him back into Prandana. He gets past at the chicane. Groom taking a big off there to make sure he gets out of everyone's way and has actually just jumped back.
Actually just returned to pits.
Yeah.
Hey-ho for Groom.
Just out of there. But once again, backmarker's slightly closing up these 3 at the front, and Prandana still hunting down Jones, who right now is holding a nice position on the podium that I'm sure he'll be very pleased with if he can keep that for this race.
Yeah, that golden livery of Matt Jones going into T1 even. Gleaming in the sunlight of Catalonia right there.
Absolutely.
Let's have a jump back to the battle at the front of the track. We're coming into the last few laps of the race, and it's still between Diggs and Yang. It's quite tight at the top, but more back markers are on their way coming through.
Van der Heck and Gordstick are very close as well. But these two have just been locked together for this whole race, haven't they? They've just so consistently stuck on this. Their pace is identical, it seems. I've just actually had a check, and their best times are within half a second, and so are their last lap times. So it seems like they are just entirely equaling each other's pace, which is great to see.
Yeah, as I said, these guys have been around each other now for a very long time, and now they can. I said they know when to follow, they know when to push, and these two drivers are a bit like it's a good, healthy battle, which is what we like to see on track, essentially. 5 weeks of chat. Oh, this is race number 9 out of a 10-race series, and they finally start to learn where they can push and pull. It looks like Uric coming up on the back of Hamal them as well. He's only 1 step behind him.
Mal's going to keep it though, gets a much nicer exit into that corner, so I guess it's an entry.
Yeah.
But getting a good jump ahead of the Porsche there, who was making a really nice run of it into the hairpin, but not going to quite be able to do it.
And yeah, so then we've got Marsigler has also put in pressure on the Aston Martin of Allen, who is still in this battle that even extends its way all the way up to Gardstieg, really.
Ooh. I was about to suggest you move your camera up to the front, but Prandana getting very close to Jones, has a little bit of a moment, it falls back again. Got that work to do all again now to close up. Can't quite make it anything of it yet, as Monika being held up a bit by back markers is falling away from this group. Doherty and Prandana doing a nice job of getting past them.
Yes, let's have a little look at how the order is on track as we go into lap number 10, or heading towards lap number 10. Anyway, it's Diggs that leads from Yang, who then take the final podium space is consistent of Jones, who finds himself quite far off the back of the leading battle. He's 6 seconds behind Yang in P2, but then he's got Prandana chasing him down, and Doherty's putting some pressure on and needs to start capitalising on the mistakes that Prandana's making, trying to push himself onto the podium. And then we find Monika. Great job from qualifying. Started in P12, is up to P6. And he's got Anders behind him, who's a back marker. But then we've got John Turner in the Bentley of P7. Then we find Kart von Glan. He starts, qualified P20, finds himself in P8 by purely managing to avoid much of the contact. And talking of contact, we then find Terry in the Lexus behind as we enter the 3rd sector and coming into the chicane for the 10th time. And then Gardstieg will ride our top 10.
Prandana's doing it. He got it looks like Jones was really messy on the exit onto the final straight, and he's managed to get past well down the pit lane, as if he was never there. Slightly behind this Nissan going to turn 1, but the Nissan is taking a wide line and trying to stay out of it, but that was close. Gets it a little bit in the way of Jones there, but overall it's fine. I think Prandana probably scared backed out of that a little bit as well. So Prandana now
put himself onto P3 then.
Third, yeah.
I think he's just waiting to cut the time. But I mean,
absolutely.
Jones is going to benefit from that back marker because Prandana was held up quite a lot. Prandana was held up quite a lot by that GTR back marker, and Jones just managed to slip round on the right-hand side, coming in between the exit of the exit of 2 into 3. Sorry. So Jones has still got a fight in him for podium.
Oh, another big move as well.
Oh, as
Yang has got
Prandana
ahead of Diggs.
Sorry, we're on board with Prandana, and Prandana caught the exit of, I think, 6, going into the kink of 7 and 8, and it's just found himself really loose, and that's going to tumble him down the order. So Yang's made the move on Diggs, is what you said. Yeah, we've just caught that.
Yep, and then Diggs dive bombed him back into the hairpin and went a bit too far for himself, and so Yang still got it, but Diggs really feisty here, wants to regain that position as soon as possible. There's not long left in this race, and he knows he's going to have to make it soon because Yang's been harassing him the whole way through, and he taps him. Sends him back round, very much like Yang did to Doherty earlier that you slightly missed. That was almost a carbon copy of the incident, except last time Yang stayed behind him. Diggs just getting back ahead in that situation.
That's really unfortunate to see the contact between Yang and Diggs. I mean, a really solid battle, to be fair, but I think Yang's given as much as he's got in a sense that they've both been battling each other. It's both been really consistent between the two. As Doherty looking to close the gap on Jones now that Prandana is out the way following that slip up in the middle of the last lap.
Absolutely, Prandana's got to do it all again, and it doesn't look like he quite has the time to do it up again. So very sad that there's been a few mistakes here at the end, but nice to see that everyone's pushing. All of these top positions are not settling. They're trying to get everything they possibly can out of this evening.
So I've just seen the question of no penalty for those two so from my evaluation of the post-race conversation that was had between the stewards and some of the drivers, obviously this being a replay from last night's action, is Diggs did the same thing to Yang as Yang did to Diggs, like a lap between each other, so they just both gave them both a warning because they were in no way of contact of the others. But that's up to the stewards' discretion at the end of the day. As you see at last rejoining off the track, not really sure what he was doing
was he taking the national track, or
I have no idea.
Was he on the wrong circuit?
I have no idea what he was doing between there. As the battle was on the grid, we've got Doherty and Diggs, we've got Terry and Von Glan. Terry looking for the inside of this GTR through the hairpin. Not a lot going through there, and we're coming up to the Lars just off the side of the track there again as well.
I believe this is crossing the line to end the race now, is it?
Is it the last lap? I think we might have...
This might be the last lap.
Well, we've got drive for the day if it is the last lap, so we'll just make sure we check. And
everyone's still pushing, so this must be the start of the last lap, I think.
Just having a little look on board at the battle. But, oh no, it is the end because there's flares popping everywhere. So the problem with the replays is the fact that we have no idea, and we have to guess at the timer, and the timer is all controlled by us anyway. So we'll jump over to the podium then, and we'll go through the drive of the day.
Should have trusted my instinct.
Should have trusted your instinct, because I've also not turned the drive of the day vote in, so don't get voting just yet. Let me just turn that on. It is on. So if you want to vote for drive of the day, here's how it works. Diggs. To vote for Diggs, you need to put P1. To vote for Yang is P2. For Jones is P3. For Doherty is P4. For Prandana is P5. For Monica is P6. For Turner is P7. For Von Glan is P8. For Terry is P9. And for Guardstig is P10. So get your votes in the chat now. Just while I update the...
I'm seeing some P8s going in for Glan. Makes sense, as he did have numerically probably the best race in terms of positions gained. I'm seeing a couple of P4s for Doherty, being the one who won out of that little battle there. I could easily see one for Pradana for me. He did make that slip up, which lost him a few places at the end, but until then he was giving us a great show with his pure pace. And then Yang as well. Very unfortunate that Yang didn't quite manage to make the win there, but he put pressure on Diggs the whole way, and he made a move when it counted. We didn't see the move, and it sounds like it wasn't the cleanest move. So maybe I won't go too hard on that one yet. But Turner also getting a lot of love. Turner, a good friend of the channel, so a lot of people showing some support to that man.
Exactly. So last little minute just to get your vote for driver of the day in. As we see the numbers update. And you know what? I'm not even going to fix it and vote for myself with all 3 devices I have in front of me on 3 different accounts. Right, we'll close it there then. Let me just type in the driver of the day name. And it was... I think this could be his 3rd one. I think it could be the only driver with 3. I could be wrong as well. I probably am massively wrong. But the driver of the day for race number 1 then is John Turner. Well done to that bright orange Bentley driver of John. As we head into and we prep race number 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump over to have a little look at the... Ooh, no, we're not. Tell you what, we're not. We're just going to go straight to 5 minutes in the replay. I'm looking at the time on my screen and trying to work out what we've got time for and what we haven't got time for. And also not using everything up as we do later on. So let's get ourselves prepped for race number 2. Let us know who you are expecting to see better things from in race 2 as comparison to race 1. And Gareth, are you already on replay number 2?
I am not. I'll be there very soon.
Okay, we'll just make sure that we're all lined up as we need to be. Let's add 20. What's that going to add on?
There we go. I'm in.
Are you
5
at,
minutes.
are you
I'm
at
looking
5?
at the booty of Alexis.
At 5, and it's towards that ambulance around the corner, yeah?
Yep.
Excellent stuff. So we're going to jump on board then back into race number 2. Nice quick changeover this evening then. And the grid. If you missed the first race, we'll go over the grid now quickly. It's Diggs in P1, Yang in P2, Terry in P3, Doherty in P4, Carter in P5, Jones in P6, Groom in P7, Turner in P8, Prandana in P9, Uric in P10, Nergard in P11, Maninka, Gardstig, Petrov, Haller, Spitz, Eckendal, Brining, Vandenheck and Von Glan make up the top 20. Scroll down the list then, and we've got Allen, Marsigla, Meadows, Van Gastel, Clayton, Herzert, Hamal, Smeets, Louis and Carstrop then rounding out the final order. Who are you looking for to have a better race in race 2 than in race 1?
Ooh, I definitely like to see maybe not a better race from them, but a cleaner race from Yang and Diggs would be nice. But seeing that sort of battle still happening, Groom had a awful got caught up in some incidents early on and was thrown back down the order. So seeing him staying closer up to the top as well would be very nice to see.
Yeah, I think a cleaner start would be what would be on the cards for me. I think having a cleaner start into the actual race itself would be good, because that means at least more drivers get through, and there's a lot more battling on track than there was in race number 1. Even though there was a lot of battling, but it was more towards the front, sort of 14 to 15 drivers.
There was a lot of battling in a few people.
So seeing a few more fights across the track would be a great thing to see. So let me just rack up. Let's take this to 24. 11. There we go. Is that going to time it just about right? Like I said, the timer in the top right hand corner is purely because we're on a replay on the Saturday races. So it's all guesstimated. Actually, I feel like I'm going to have to go a little bit further just to make sure we hit the 20-minute mark as we cross the line. So we all join the Noah's Ark formation then 2 by 2 as Diggs leads us round the corner. And this is the final race for the Saturday split drivers. And as Diggs brings us round, we go green then for race number 2. A much better start. We've already got further than we did in race 1 before any collisions. Haller picking himself up a drive-through, assuming that was for speeding off the bat. A good start from Terry then. Finds himself alongside P2 of Yang going into turn 1. Gets it slowed down, but there's a really late on the braking. That's going to open the door straight back up for Yang to take the position back then as we go further down the order. Everyone looks to be nice and clean through turn 1 and 2. And a little bit free wide further down the back of the order.
Yeah, Smeets had a little bit of connection and is off, but he is the only one who is lost anything.
There's a bit of a collision. I believe that's between Carter and... Is that Jones or Doherty
going off?
I think it was
That's
between
Doherty.
Yeah, I think it's between Carter and Doherty then. that action. And Diggs then is in the lead as we cross the first timing beam. So let's have a look how the order shakes out. It's Diggs leading from Yang, from Terry. Much better start from him, but still having to fend off Jones in P4. Then we've got a bit more action towards the back as Doherty's had a bit of an off in 5. And that's opened the door for more of these cars to jump through. Actually, it looks like Spitz is all the way out the order. It says he's on P13. Oh, he is on P13. It says Doherty's lost so much time.
I think they had an incident just after the timing beam, which has thrown us off slightly, as Doherty is back in that gang of Ferraris. That
we'll wait till we cross the line for the first time then.
In the last game, absolutely, as he's diving down the inside of one of the Ferraris there, another 2 of them side by side. He's going to have some work to do to make it up now. So we're already seeing a few differences in how the order is shaking out, with Diggs and Yang staying at the front. And a lot more drivers up really close behind them. John, Prandana, Monika, I can see Jurek has done a lot better now, is right behind this sort of top gaggle of drivers. Grum is still up there, good to see him there. And Ekendal, another driver who got thrown down the order last time, and is still right at the front of these guys.
So let's have a little look where we are on track then. So Diggs takes us over the line for lap 1. He's followed by Yang. Terry finds himself in P3, not involved in anything so far. As it looks like Turner goes on the inside of Jones through 1. Can't make it stick, but that has opened the door up for Prandana behind him. Maninka's just sitting there, waiting for a mistake to happen from these 3 drivers and hoping to grab a whole lot of positions as he goes through the order. So then we've got Maninka in 7th then, Jurek in 8th. And then we see the pack of Groom, Ekendal, Doherty about 3 seconds behind this pack. And then we've got Nergard. Spitz, great start from him with Von Glan. Again, another beefy start from him as he looks on the inside of Spitz going through 5.
Ooh, Maninka and Prandana having a fantastic race up the front. Maninka looked like he had it for a while, but just outbroke himself into that corner and fell back. Didn't lose any more places, though, so he's still between the 2 Porsches of Prandana and Jurek up in 7th position for him.
And this battle for the front 2 is still ongoing. They're within a second of each other. Talking through experience of driving this, I just couldn't keep hold of them. It's like you normally sit there in 3rd, you think you just get dragged along for the ride. There's just no chance of me keeping up with these 2 as they were firing themselves round this track. And they just had it completely on lock, and they've already opened within 2 laps. They've opened a 2.3 second gap up on P3. They're defending from Jones though, as Jones is holding off a pack of 3 or 4 cars behind him. Well, actually, it's more like 5 or 6 or 7 cars behind Jones, to be honest. As they
Even Doherty is caught up with a huge pack now for the top 10.
So literally the run as they come across then is Jones is in 4th. Turner's trying to grab the slipstream with Prandana behind, not quite close enough to grab it. Then we've got a little gap between Maninka, Jurek, Anders, Ekendal, Groom and Doherty then after that incident in the first lap has found himself onto the back of the pack for 4th place. Turner's got a lot to gain from this. He's keeping that gap as Jones runs wide through 3. He's going to catch a lot of marbles.
Mess his tyres up, yeah.
He's going to catch it, especially being race 2 and the grid, the track.
He's got to hold grip through these corners as well now, so we could easily see him have a little bit of a worse run out of some of these. It's not a place that the McLaren is particularly strong either. So Turner's got a nice opportunity to stay real close to him, but Prandana is the one who's really making a move of it, right on the Bentley's bumper. And as aggressive as ever, still looking for moves.
Looking at Prandana. Let's have a little look at the cockpit cam then of Prandana.
Yeah, he looked for a little move through I think turn 9 there onto the back straight, and it definitely not making anything there, my friend, but he's following real tight into here. Turn 1 probably his next big opportunity for any sort of move as they head up towards the final chicane.
So Diggs and Yang then head through the chicane for the 3rd time. There's a little bit loose there from the Lexus into the entry. It doesn't help as he puts himself... Yeah, it's me. And I've put myself all the way around and just find myself in the middle. Oh, the rejoin isn't much better, to be honest. And put myself in the middle of the Trilly train as it was. And gone from 3rd all the way down from 8th. I couldn't remember. I knew it was coming. I couldn't remember what lap it was coming on.
Absolutely. As now Jurek's making a move on Monika. Behind them, Terry and Ekendal right next to each other. Nothing happening with Jurek, but Ekendal is looking like he's got round the outside. Groom and Doherty just behind them as well. So Groom's fallen down a little bit, unfortunately. We didn't see what happened to him, but he's still up there in the fight, able to try and get something done. Prandana is actually round the side of Turner right now and just dives in front of him, going into that long sweeping right-hander.
Oh, we could have some. This is where we could have an issue watching Prandana. So unfortunately, Pranda completely
just. My friend.
So the issue that we have here is Prandana's internet decides to. We're talking of professionality, but it decides to shit the bed essentially, and that completely ruins Prandana's racing. So this pack of 5 cars, led now by John Turner, because Jones has started to make the gap onto him.
Yurik has just passed Manika, so he could push an advantage, and he's already getting a little bit of one there. This could put Turner under pressure. He was looking like he was getting out of it.
Oh, there's a collision there towards the back then. That's involved between Terry Eckendal and Maninka. And we'll let it play out a little bit before we go through the story. That was the jump scare of my life as Yurik runs himself wide going into the chicane as well.
Oh, Yurik's been looking really messy on this lap.
Oh, the entry is... I can't comment on the re-entry, but the re-entry isn't great either.
Yeah, a few slightly dodgy re-entries there, and he hits Doherty, but very kindly of him, Groom just sets him straight again, make sure he can keep on racing. Definitely that was on purpose by Groom there. Good job. As you see another fight going just behind them with the other Ferraris, which looks like Nurgod followed by Von Glan in the Nissan. And Von Glan could make a huge move down here into turn 1. He's right behind the Ferrari's bumper. He's going to dive out to look for it. But he doesn't have that slipstream anymore, so he's going to have to do it on the brakes. And he pulls it off. It looks absolutely lovely. The Ferrari gives him space. Maybe a little bit too cautious, but nice and clean work. Gets them both through that corner.
So let's have a look how the front pack line up then. Diggs has got 1.2 second gap over Yang. Then there's 7 seconds back to Jones, who's just poodling round, trying to secure a podium for the final race of the season. Turner's trying to grab onto the back of him, but following the contact between Terry and Maninka, Eckendal finds himself up into P5. And then we've got the dueling pair of Maninka and Terry as we're into the 4th lap. Then we see Grom, Doherty, Yurik, Von Glan, Nurgard, Gardstick, Spitz, Prandana, Petrov, Hamal, Allen, Vandenheck and Hers that then lead out your top 20 with 11 minutes left to go. And
so after trying to say that Turner had got himself some clean air and then saying that he didn't get himself clean air, he has now got himself clean air because everyone behind him has either killed themselves or been killed by their Wi-Fi. And he now has a pretty decent lead on Eckendal, so he can sort of sit and chill now. Been in battles for the whole last race. It will be nice for him if he can keep this distance to keep going, as Eckendal looks like he might need to start defending from Terry soon, which could end up slowing him down.
Yeah, and going back to that incident between myself and Maninka, is the God's honest truth from my dash cam. I could see Eckendal in front of me, and I could see John further up the road. Couldn't see Mika in between them, and because I don't have don't have who's where. I don't have the live delta. I had this delta that you can see now. On the right hand side, I was on the wrong delta screen. I didn't know he was I knew he was what position he was in. I just didn't know where he was on track. Went to go past Anders into the hairpin, and then just Mika was just there in front of me. It was just like couldn't get it slowed down, like you said there. Anders Eckendal now starting to have to defend from the Lexus of Terry, with Maninka jumping down the throat to get involved as well.
A few battles to shout out further down the order as Allen dive bombs Hamal into the first corner. And the Meadows in his McLaren also just behind them takes on Vanderheck, who's now going a little bit wide. And there's another McLaren right behind him, Herzat, who almost collides with him, but backs out of it just enough to keep it safe. Going into the long right-hander now. Tries to go around the edge, but doesn't have the drive. The Ferrari sticks it in nicely there. So still some action going down for the lower places as well. Hamiao does have some sort of penalty, so will be falling down the order when he finishes, but we cannot tell what that is yet, as Terry also has a penalty, I'm assuming, for murdering Maninka.
That would be for murdering Maninka, you are correct there. As Terry and Maninka actually find themselves side by side on track, coming into and through Sector 3. They managed to get through the hairpin clean this time, which is a bonus result. But coming into the chicane though, Maninka holds the inside line. Terry looking for the inside again of the next part. I mean, it's just literally back and forth between the two of them. A great little bit of side-by-side driving from the two. And that's opened the door for Doherty to jump onto the back of, or to the side, sorry, of Groom. But as I say that, Doherty's run wide and he's been caught in the back by Uric as well. And that's
straight into the wall as well. That's wrecked his car. He's dead.
Absolutely ruined Doherty into the wall there.
Holy, that's not a good one. That is like the crash we saw at Spa with Florian Lupiaz. That's the sort of thing that's going to absolutely ruin your race. That just grand of a hit into the wall. Has been going for Terry again round here. With Groom still just behind them, nice and clean. And a great break there from Maninka, as long as he can get the drive out of this. Terry's definitely got a slightly better drive, but the positioning for Maninka might just hold it. And into the midfield they go with Uric, who himself has also managed to pick up a penalty for some sort of murder, coming in behind these lot. Oh, and Dan's gone off.
Yeah, why do you think I've stayed silent for so long?
Oh, Dan's gone off.
It's one of those where it's when we first done the streams, I would talk about what would happen before it would happen, and I got told off. But I'm also sitting here like, I know what's coming up before it's happening. And the issue there was just, if anyone's driven, well, actually all of you will have driven Barcelona or drive Barcelona in the next couple of days. There's a curb you can't put your car on around this track, and it is that one. Because as soon as you put your brake on that curb, you can't turn. You're just locked in like a roller coaster track. Like, it just pushes you straight. Like, you can't stop. And yeah, that just, to be fair, it was either that or going into the back of Maninka again. And being apparently the dirtiest split in the league, I thought I won't take another 5-second penalty. Unfortunately, you can't see those penalties because they are in the replay. Uric picks himself up a 15-second penalty for the rear ending of Doherty. Well, I believe he ended with plus 15 seconds. I don't know. The only issue I've seen was mainly that one. But yeah, they. Let's have a little look further down the track then, as where some more battles. So we've got Brining. Must have just got the move done on Herzert.
We haven't seen a lot of him today.
He was getting a lot of attention in race 1. Was Brining. He got a few penalties here and there picked up, but. And then the next
15th now in a 30-car field. It's not bad going.
Solid mid-place finish. And then we've got Clayton and Meadows battling out. So Clayton's got the job done around Meadows through the chicane. Meadows looking for the run out of the exit. And looks like he's got that job done. I believe is that Meadows in the car?
I think that's Clayton.
Oh, yeah. Clayton's fallen down the... Sorry. It's Van Gastel. Sorry, yeah. Clayton was next to Meadows. And I believe Clayton's had an issue. And then, because if we look at Meadows' car, blue McLaren, and Van Gastel's car, blue McLaren. That's very confusing. That's where I've got myself confused. So there'll be the battles on track then. Uric is looking to close up on Groom. Well, actually, Uric is looking to close up on Groom. That is the right thing I was trying to say. And then the battle behind.
Looks like, unfortunately, Petrov driving the Audi has been slightly murdered by his car. I just saw him sort of rolling through the sand a little bit there. Lost 3 or 4 places overall. I think he's down to like 20th now, maybe even lower. He's just behind Marsiglia, so he's 21st.
As we see then, this pack of cars for the final driver of the day positions is starting to bulk up. There's a lot of battling towards the end, and Von Glan holds the key to the door in 9th, and then he's got Nergard behind him in the Ferrari in P10, then Garstig in P11, Terry in P12, Hamau in P13, who's actually side by side with Vandenheck, and Brining's looking to get involved and make it 3 wide down the start finish. Nope, they fin themselves out. But Brining's looking.
Yeah, that's a bad exit from there from Hamiao, so he's absolutely just going to get bolted down the straight. The Bentley not confident, perhaps, that he can do it on the brakes.
As a backwards spinning, is that Vandenheck? Or that was Vandenheck, yeah. Vandenheck then sees himself spinning around. He clicked on the wrong camera and got the wrong time. Good job, Dan. Well done. But Vandenheck then looking to recover.
Yeah, we've had another murder now, unfortunately, and Hamiao will clearly pick up another penalty from that one. Unfortunately for him, as... He's had a good race speed-wise. He's managed to Well, ahead of a lot of these guys, as Brenning is now up to 13th.
A nice patient drive from Brennan this time around. Has found him, like I said, a nice clean, and found himself high up the order. Very similar to Von Glan, to be honest. Very clean driver. Not picked up a lot of penalties, and it sees him move up higher and higher up the order. As Hamal looking for the inside of... No, that's Herzog looking for the inside of Hamal. Going into the hairpin. A lot of these drivers have kept the same liveries, but some of them have changed their liveries. And in the middle of the pack, I don't recognise a lot of them.
Yeah, Hamiel one who's kept that a rather wild Ferrari for the whole race, which is nice. It's one that's very easily spotted as well. It's nice when you have a livery that you can instantly tell is you.
Yeah, definitely. Let's just stay on board. Let's just have a little look at the Groom Maninka. But actually, no, that's the closest battle on track. Let's go back to that. We're going to stay on board with that battle for now. Got about 3 minutes left of this race. And it looks like Diggs and Yang are battling their way through the order as we go.
Eckendal and Maninka are the other two who are close to each other on track. So Maninka is they're heading into the infield section now. Groom a little bit further back, but also sort of in touching with this, as we see Maninka rolling through. Really nice exit through there, right on the back of Eckendal. Unfortunately, through a corner, a high-speed corner that he won't be able to make anything from. But if he can get a good exit here, you got to dive into the hairpin. He's been a little bit slower than the Porsche through there. And the Porsche take an incredibly defensive line, but this is going to put him at a really bad point for getting that drive out of there. But he's right in the way of the Nissan and will not lose the position there. So good defensive driving from the Porsche. And this battling has brought Groom right up into it as well. Going down for the chicane.
And as catch...
Could see...
Go on.
Could see something happening to turn one as well as this. It's another decent overtaking position if the Nissan can get a nice run out inside of the Porsche, pushing nicely onto the green there. The Porsche, not known for its straight line speed, definitely could get eaten up in this position. Might just be far enough away. Oh, the Nissan's actually just going to dive round the outside. That was audacious. Absolutely not the normal overtaking line, but keeps momentum in there and is now just flew past the Porsche. That was fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely great move there. And look at as we're talking about closing the gap on the podium even, sorry. Turner looking to put a fight through onto Jones. Jones got 12 seconds to catch up on Diggs. I believe we're going to have 2 more laps, I think. Got a minute 10 left on the clock.
End of this lap and then the next lap.
Yeah, so this
there's 1.5 laps left.
So penultimate lap as we go at the moment. Turner's got to find 1.9 seconds to get himself onto the podium. So let's have a little look further down the order. Groom and Eckendal still fighting behind Maninka. And then this little pack of 4 cars involving Terry, Nergard, Von Glan and Uric. The chase was on here because, as I mentioned earlier, Uric did have a 15-second time penalty. And I had a 5-second penalty, and I believe Hamal behind me had a 5-second penalty as well. So it was like trying to secure a top 10, but needing to work out the math on track was not... that was literally what was going through my head yesterday in the order. We go further down the order then, and there's a car off onto the side then. I'm not too sure who that is actually. Looks like it could be Meadows. Where is Meadows? It was Meadows. The Meadows off track now. Here's a back marker down in 16th. There's the next.
Eckendal has managed to close up to Maninka again, but doesn't have the car that I would expect him to be able to make a move in the same way that the Nissan did, unfortunately. It's now just a position, I think, of him either going into the hairpin or something, getting a move in the slower part of the course, or just making sure to keep up enough of a distance that he doesn't get dived as well by Groom, who is also in a slightly more top speed car than the Porsche.
No, I mean, an absolutely great drive from Anders, to be fair. Recovering well from the incidents that he was caught up in on race number 1. And puts himself solidly within the top, well, chasing to get into the top 5. Last lap then, and let's have a look where the leaders are. So Diggs coming around to get himself as Meadows off the track again. I think he's got more damage than more things damaged on his car than safe. And actually, both the blue McLarens off track next to each other. Who was it? Is it Vanden Heck's blue one?
It's Clayton, I believe.
Clayton and no, Clayton's is grey. Clayton's
is grey. It is Van Gastrel.
Van Gastrel and
they're both in the pits now, and Meadows.
So Diggs then coming around the line then to take win number 2, back-to-back wins for him, and we'll see what damage that does to the championship table after the race. We can see who gets promoted. Finish from the end of this race. So Diggs then take Yang in P2. Actually, we can get a vote ready for driver of the day while we've got this on screen. So Diggs in P1, Yang in P2, Jones in P3, Turner in P4, Maninka in P5. Is actually holding off the battle from Eckendal and Groom then coming around the last corner.
And then we'll have to wait a little bit to quite see where the bottom half of this order comes out, as Eckendal and Groom take 6th and 7th. Jurek is about to cross the line. So
Jurek crosses, but it's a safe. I don't think the replay is going to show it. Jurek finishes in 12th with his time penalty. Von Glan moves up to 8th. Oh, there you go. It is correcting itself, I believe. I'm not too sure if it is or not. Who knows?
I don't think it is. No, we're going to have to go to the official results on Sim Racing GP, I believe.
Are you able to bring them up quickly?
Absolutely.
I'm going to jump over to the post-race podium then. For the driver of the day then, we can start the vote now, all the way up to P8. Oh no, it is what it is on screen, so it's fine. But it will be. Anyway, I'll read it out. So Diggs is P1. If you want to vote for him, it's P1 in the chat. P2 for Yang. P3 for Jones. P4 for Turner. P5 for Maninka. P6 for Eckendal. P7 for Groom. P8 for Von Glan. P9 for Nergard. And P10 for Gardstig then are going to be your drivers of the day. And let me turn the podium on, because as consistent as our drivers are, it's exactly the same as it was in the first split. So Diggs takes the victory, race number 2 and race number 1. Yang back-to-back second places, and Matt Jones back-to-back third places then. So let's have a little look at the driver of the day, folks. We're going to have a look at the little chat. We're going to have a look, words. It's a good start to the day. We're going to have a look at the championship table, and then we're going to have a look at then we're going to move into the top split. So let me just open that up. So the driver of the day then for race number 2. Let me update this. So driver of the day for race number 2 then. Well done to Eckhart von Glan. Great drive from him. Saw him finish up in P8. And a great drive from him. So let's go and have a look at what the damage was to the table. He says, is it not turned on? It is turned on. Where is it? Ah, it's underneath that. That'd be why. So this is the championship table, and how the championship table ends following a 10-race series. Mika Maninka finds himself promoted with 4 wins. Have I lost you, Gareth? Oh, no, you are there. It's right, your mic cut off. It's right, no, you are there. I can hear you now.
Hello.
Yang was in P2 and Diggs in P3. Actually, it's Diggs in P2, Yang in P3, because Diggs, as you can see there, has got more wins than Yang. So those 3 will find themselves in the Pro Tier next season. And then we've got Doherty, Jones, Prandana, Turner, Groom, Von Glan, Gardstig, Nergard, Marsigla, Carter, Goldenitz, Spitz, Brining, Terry, Uric, Meadows and Vanden Heck. They will find themselves in the Silver Split tier next season. And then the order finishes as follows. Hamal, Allen, Clayton, Herzert, Karstrop, Van Gastel, Petrov, Eckendal, Louis, Haller, Smeets, Rose, Girk, Hermans, Nash and Hobbs will find themselves in the AM split for next season. Any surprises in there for you, Gareth?
Ooh. There's a couple of people, I don't know if they're surprises, there's a couple of people like Eckendal, who you can see down there, who are quite low. Who you would expect to be higher on pace, but they have had some incidents going through a few of these days, so I can see why they're down here so much. I think generally the people who have been the most consistent are going to be the ones you find at the top, so no huge surprises overall. We've had a lot of the same people like Diggs and Doherty, of course, Groom and Prandana, Jones, always running at the top. So good to see them all getting good positions.
Exactly. So what we're going to do there then, ladies and gentlemen, is that brings the end of Rookie Split Black. And it was a great season all round from one of the drivers that drove in the split. Like I said, really good battles across the board, and linking with and battling, keeping the battles going between all the races and taking them from one to the next. So I look forward to seeing a lot of these names again next season in both the Silver and the AM split. But now we're here for the main event of the evening, and we're going to jump over to the top split. We're going to show you a little highlight video from Mazzano, which was round 3, as we just prepare to swap over and join us in a couple of minutes. Go get yourself a drink, go and use the toilet if you need to, and then we'll be in with qualifying for the top split race. See you shortly.
So close to me, you could be inside my head. Maybe it's a once in a lifetime kind of thing, to feel the kind of magic that your love brings.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Circuit de Catalunya. You're here for the top split race number 1, and we're in qualifying. Sorry, not even race number 1. I'm wishing my life down the drain at the moment. We're here for race number 1, and Madam Mim's Man is the first person out on track that's looking to set a time. Who are you backing in the chat? Let us know early doors. Who you think's going to get a good result going into race number 1 and 2? Actually, while Minmams is out on his outlap, we could go and have a little look at the ones to watch. Let's bring the ones to watch up for Sunday, and I've picked Steve Hughes. So Steve Hughes has got the most to gain if he can get 2 good results this week, and it could put him in contention for P3 in the championship. And if you weren't with us on Friday, there will be a slight delay between the end of race 2 and simracing.gp update in the championship. We'll fit in some fan favourite stream racer in between the end of race 2 and the results coming out. Who have you gone for, Gareth?
I chose Shane Thomas, the most consistent driver in all of ACCSS, most likely. But can he finally break his curse and win a race?
So Lars has gone for fan favourite Rob Brining as well, and using that momentum from a big win at Spa last weekend. And he's going to need a couple of... Actually, he's not even in the top 3. So he's going to need a result or 2 here this evening to put himself into the top 3 for the season and get himself your band. And that's it. And then you can go for who Julian's got.
Julian's gone for Maciej Markowski, our favourite Lambo driver right now. He's been doing really well. Could do with a little bit more consistency. But even with his inconsistent moments, he's been so fast that it looks like he may be getting the bigger band.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like some of these drivers, it's the prize, it's the backhanded prize if ever you've seen one. But actually, like we said, we are a rookie and a novice-centric split, and the fast guys, again, their reward is being your band at the end of the day, and in a reward in itself. We don't just leave them out to dry; they can still join us for all our community races. And next season, we've got the Battle Series is actually being replaced by. Oh, I'll tell you what, I don't know if Steve's announced it yet. And
he hasn't announced exactly what it is. He said that something on Friday is going to be replacing it, I believe. But he hasn't said what it is.
Tuesday, the Battle Series is being replaced by something else. But it's not being
He hasn't
announced.
said what it is.
Okay.
He definitely hasn't said
I'm not getting myself in trouble anymore. I got myself in trouble on Friday for saying the splits. So we can go over that for those that weren't here on Friday. Should we just concentrate? We'll talk during the race. We've got a half an hour race, and we can jump back in. We've got plenty of time. So let's have a look. Now our qualifying laps are starting to go through, and Shane Thomas needs a win. Finds himself on pole at the moment. Who is up on their time? So Jonathan Shingle's up on his time.
Mimsman, a one to watch right now because I was on board throughout the whole qualifying lap there. And he made a big mistake out of the last corner and lost a load of time. So he could definitely jump up the order in the next few laps. We've got quite a few drivers in the 45s down to our top 10 with Victor Janba, all in the 45s.
Oh, this is going to throw me right off. It's good to see that he's back. Is Mohamed Afiq, but he's changed his livery. But he is a second up on his time, and it's only an 8/10 gap, and he puts himself on pole then. With a 1:45 flat. He's in an Aston Martin, but he's changed the livery.
Oh, I like it.
I do like the livery. There's nothing wrong with the livery. And Becker's actually 2 seconds up. Oh, he is 3.7 seconds down on the lead. Actually, there was a car. Jonathan Shingle was in the lobby, and he was 2 seconds up on his time, and now he doesn't seem to be in the lobby whilst on a lap. So I think he may have had a disconnect. Mattia Lysin then is up 6/10. Is Mattia's lap valid? Gareth, can you tell us all? Because he's 6/10 up going into 4. Well, fair play to him then. He's 6/10 up on his time at the moment.
He's running a 1:46.4 right now, so 6/10 up on his time will put him right at the sharp end of a lot of these fast drivers. Coming through the infield section, out to that fast right-hander before he goes down the back straight. And he's still keeping up a pretty good lead if he can. But as we all know, the back section of this track, especially with the last chicane, is another one of those places where you can lose or gain a huge amount of time. As he actually gained multiple attempts just going up the straight there. So this could be a good one. Jonathan Shungle, another person who seems to be.
Oh, is he back?
Gaining a bit of time right now. Yep, and he's just jumped up to 5th.
It's great time from him then.
And I think when I wasn't keeping track of him too much because when I spied him earlier, he was being a little bit messy. But even with that mess, he managed to get up pretty high, so that could be a good one. As Worrell is another person who's going to jump.
I'm not. Don't want to move off of Lyson as he comes through his time, but Worrell could actually put himself on pole with this time.
Exactly, this is a big time.
Puts himself on second. Oh, he's a 1:44.7. He would have been pole if it weren't for Matamunu, who went in with a 1:44.4 on his outlap. Markowski's up.
Big play there from the leader of ACCSS.
That's a great time, that is, from Steve Worrell. I gave him my energy from yesterday with my great qualifying lap, and he's taken it and added. He's taken it and added 6 tenths worth of beans to it.
Is he gonna crash on as well?
Probably.
Get some penalties. It wouldn't be too surprising. Hopefully he can have a nice clean race.
He needs a nice clean race, does Mr. Worrell himself. And Markowski's up 7 tenths on his time at the moment. And that white Lamborghini, top contender to be your band in this split.
Oh, especially with 8 tenths up on that time. That's big.
Yeah, he won't put him on pole. It might just put him on contention with Steve Worrell.
How are you doing the last chicane? Not great, but not awfully. He only lost a little bit, so that's not going to jump him as high as we thought, but he is going to be fighting for 3rd place there with a Feek now. And he does take it just literally
1/1000 of a second.
Only just over a 100th faster than him.
Let's jump on board with the steward, Paul Glover. Let's have a little look at his lap. He is up on his time at the moment. He sees himself in P11. There's a little battle going in between Paul and Steve into the final round this evening because Steve currently finds himself above. Paul Glover finds himself above Steve in the championship. And there you go, a little bit of rivalry going on. A lot of history between these two drivers. He is 7 tenths up on his time, and that is good enough to put himself in contention with Steve's qualifying time as well, to be honest. Just needs a really good chicane here from in the Aston Martin V8 Vantage. Let's have a little look. He's half a second up. He's lost a little bit of time through the chicane like most drivers do. Where's that quality going to put him? It's going to move him up to... Was it invalid? It must have been invalid.
Oh yeah, that's a really unlucky one there from Paul Glover.
It was a 1:45.1. Steve has been practicing this week, Maninka. To be fair, he practices every week, but the Audi just kills him every week. Leonard Shingle's up 6 tenths. That's good enough to put him in 5th if he can get it over the line.
Yeah, which he's doing.
I'll tell you what, Robert Breining's on a job here to put this on pole. He's 1.3 seconds up, and he's 1.37 off the pole position time. So it's going to be a solid lap. He's just got the chicane to come through. This could put him on pole, you know. He's gained time through the chicane. Let's see what it's going to be as he crosses the line. 1:44 flat is... it does. It puts him on pole by 6/100ths of a second then. Robert Breining, 1:44.346.
And that means that now our top 5 drivers are all under 1:45.
Oh.
Good showing from all these speedy boys.
So 3 minutes left of qualifying. Jonathan Shingle's up 6 tenths. Jermaine Smith's also up 6 tenths as well. Where are these two on track? So Jonathan's coming through.
We have a few drivers on outlaps now as well, so we're going to get a nice flurry right towards the end of the session. Kuthen is up, coming through the last sector, and Shungle is up, just about to cross the line now. Will jump himself up a few places into 10th.
Smith's going to gain a whole second here. That's going to put him in the contention for the top of the order. That puts him into P7. So we're hitting into a couple of laps to go then, and a lot of the drivers are just waiting to get across the line. No one's up at the moment, according to our deltas on our broadcasting tool. Let's have a look at the championship table. So, if Mohamed Afiq win or Markowski win this evening, they instantly get your band for 3 wins. And Afiq, that is the only chance he's got of being your band. because he is in P13 in the championship. He won back-to-back double-header at Silverstone in round 1, and then has missed a few events and had a few inconsistent results. Misano comes to mind as an inconsistent result.
Here's a question: if someone in the top 3 gets the 3 wins you're banned,
yeah,
do they then no longer count for the top 3 you're banned, and will that move down to 2, 3, and 4, for example?
We might have to bring Steve in as a post-race interview if we get to that scenario.
We'll
because I don't know, and I've already got so many rules wrong that I'm in big trouble at some point anyway. So
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
There will be a lot of announcements coming in the next few weeks about the next splits and who's going where, so that will all get sorted out at some point as we watch Shane Thomas with a big improving to his time. Really nice run through the chicane, gained him a bit more. A little bit sloppy on the drive out, lost some of his advantage from the chicane, but still a good improvement. Throws him up to 4th place, just behind Markowski with a 1:44.7 essentially.
Yeah, so the next one up was Hudson, but he's lost his time. Brining is up. Oh, it's a big queue of cars that are all up on their time through the chicane. Afik being one of them. And we're hitting last.
This might not jump him up one though, because Shungle is a couple of temps ahead of him. So just going to stay where he is, but improves his time into the 1:44 he goes.
Brining's about to hit a 1:43. If he can keep this, he's on for a 1:43, which is honestly unreal. Completely and utterly unreal if he hits a 1:43.
Got a few other people going ones. It looks like Glover lost it in the chicane and has ruined his improvement. Litchen going for an improvement, and a couple of the guys down the bottom going for big improvements to finish it off.
Going to stay on board with this lap for now, because this could put Brining coming through the last corner. We're going to go on to Dennis Becker. So Brining 1:44.1, new benchmark for our drivers. Becker is up a second, but he is 2.5 seconds off the lead.
6. Up to 17th.
Sachs is also up 7 tenths.
That will put him around sort of 18th, 19th area if he can manage to make this.
So Mossy, I have seen your question. I will come back to it during the race. Sachs improves up to 21st then. So last lap Lando's. And one of those is Steve Wall. He's 4 tenths up at the... Oh, he's lost a lot at the hairpin, to be honest. He's still up on his time. But he was 5 tenths up before the hairpin. And he's now only 1 tenth. Paul Glover's also up 4 tenths. So that'll be the next car we go to, as the qualifying session is now over. So this is going to be the last chance for our drivers to improve.
Leonard Shungle binned his last lap, so he's out there as Afik and Markowski also start improvements to their laps. Try and find someone who's close to crossing the line. Worrell jumps up to 4th place. Very good from him.
Glover's the next one over the line. P4 Brining was up. He's binned off his lap.
There's a load of those people who you mentioned have now binned off their laps, as I see also Matamona doing a huge drift through the last sector.
Oh, he was up. He was 4 tenths up as well.
Yeah. Big drift. Lost it all.
Glover's 7 tenths up. That's going to be good enough to put him in the top 10. It does. It puts him up to 7th. Who else is out on track? Steve's not on a lap. Matamuno was invalidated, did you say? Or did he actually... Oh, he does improve. No, he wasn't
invalidated, but it wasn't faster.
That looks like it's going to be the last of the lap times that are up.
Markovsky's invalidated. He's bend it now as well. He's just given up on that one. And Mims man behind. He does have a lap time, but he's slightly behind. So that's it. That's our qualifying, it seems.
Is the qualifying over? So, while we wait for the drivers to swap over, we'll come over to our beautiful, wonderful faces. Sorry, I've just shocked you with that one, Gareth, if you weren't prepared or picking your nose, because I wasn't watching your camera either. But look at the championship table on the right hand, on this side of me. Actually, it's cutting my face off, so let's move it over there. Over this side of me, you'll see the championship table and how it looks so far. So Shane Thomas sits himself at the top of the table, but yet to have a win. Lupiaz finds himself in second. Lupiaz also not here this evening. He is watching from home, so everyone send some love to Lupiaz in the chat. I believe he's on holiday, if I remember reading the chat correctly. Yep. Markowski on 2 wins then is in 3rd in the championship. He is going to be one of the big contenders. P3 on the grid so far to get himself a free win your ban. Then he is the gatekeeper as well to Robert Brining. Stepan Couton not looking forward to this track in his words. Also, not sure where he qualified. Did he qualify? He was here. Oh, yeah, he's 14th. He's 14th, yeah, sorry, I just missed him. And Steve Hughes as well, P6. Matamuna, P7. Leonard Shingle, P8. Sachs is P9. I don't believe Sachs is here either, so that's... Oh, he is. He's towards the bottom of the order. Again, one that's not enjoying the track itself. And then Mattia Lysin finds himself in P10 in the championship, and that's the order so far. So, I saw a question in the chat about how can I sign up for next season. So, basically, you can hit this sign-up link. I think it was Maninka put it in the chat, or someone put it in the chat when Mossy asked. You can go over to our Discord if you're signed up for that. Basically, all the admin and all the staff are having next week off to rest and recuperate from a very, very hectic season. And we're also going to start planning and designing for Season 2. So how Season 2 will work is the evaluation races, which if you weren't with us for the first ever season, evaluation races are basically very, very similar, almost identical to the championship races. But they are open events on Sim Racing GP. You join into them, you go and have a race, and then basically we can evaluate your times, your racecraft, your general driving in that sense. And then Steve will inform you, or will let you know where you qualify for the championship. And those will basically be announced on Sim Racing GP in the next week, or within the next week. And that's how you can set yourself signed up for the championship. But you have to do an evaluation race first. The drivers in the championship currently don't need to do that. They will automatically qualify for next season. Hopefully I've covered all your questions, and we'll come back to some more after we do my favourite part of the week. Who's impressed you then, Gareth? Sorry, I've taken a load of talking time and I've just realised how much I have taken. So who has impressed you?
It's fine. It's obviously good to see Brenning back on the top of the tables. He had a few bad races, but winning in Spa has it could be leading to more wins here, which is very good to see. Matamona, someone who's normally just behind the winning pack, is now right within them, and hopefully can get a good start and carry on with them. And then obviously it's always good to see people like Warren Glover, who are so and Shungle, who are so important to the community, helping it run, being far up there, and Afik. Hopefully he can get a good result as he did in race 1. Excellent
stuff. So let's go and have a look through the grid order then. And this is how the grid stand following our 15-minute qualifying session. Robert Brining finds himself sat on pole position. Noah Matamone in P2. Markowski in P3. Steve Worrell in P4. Shane Thomas P5. Leonard Shingle in P6. Paul Glover in P7. Mohamed Afik is in P8 in that new livery Aston Martin there. Jermaine Smith finds himself in P9. Good qualifier from him. Ash Hudson in P10. Jonathan Shingle is in P11. Madam Mimmams is in P12. Paul Joseph in P13. Stepan Couton in P14. Victor Yanabat in P15. Steve Hughes in P16. Dennis Becker then in the Lexus finds himself in P17. Dmitry Bludyshev, not spoke a lot about him this evening, in 18. Mattia Lysin in 19. Ash Grealish in P20. Florian Sachs in 21. Cold Beer Elbow in 22. Wayne Hutchinson in 23. Norman Bruce in 24 then. That is going to be the grid for this evening's race. I need a better showing from Albu next season. That is one of the things that I need to... I think he's changing his car and promoting himself from the Gallardo to the Huracan for next season. So we could see that come out of his shell a little bit. And as I went through the names as well, I didn't expect to see Lysin so far down. But I do like his car, so it makes up for that.
Yeah, you can definitely see that it's a love-hate track, this one, and there are definitely a couple of people in this grid who are not fans of it and are lower than you would expect because of that.
That Bludyshev livery as well, the purple Ferrari is... Oh.
Yeah, that's a... Is that new as well?
I believe it might be new.
I think it's new. I think it's new, and I love it. It's fantastic. I can't see much from my camera angle because
the big
this
signs
excellent camera angle is showing me Barcelona.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sign.
It's showing you the sign. Let's go. Catalonia is your home.
Where's my... Oh, even the helicam has the sign in the way.
Yeah, they all have the cam in the way, unfortunately.
And I can look from the second set of TV cameras, and I can see the green lights, which is like you don't actually get to do in most races. So
no, when I was when I was doing the countdown, the quali battle for the rookie splits, I was like, I think Max Diggs was across the line as it went to 0, so the lights switched. I was like, I knew it did that, but I've never seen that. So here we go then. Formation lap about to begin. Robert Brining about to take them on the formation lap as he gets them moving. And we're talking a little bit about the format of the top tier. So the top tier are 30-minute races opposed to the 20-minute races in the rookie split. They also have one mandatory pit stop to complete. And our master of pit stops is not here this evening, so we'll have to see someone else take that that mantle. I mean, we have got quite a wide pit entry, so we could see some moves by Worrell into the pit lane as we did round Mazzano, as you saw in that highlight reel back then.
What we normally see in these races is as the pit window opens, a lot of back markers will jump in order to get out of those messy fights in the midfield and give themselves some free air. And a lot of the guys up front, unless they are specifically feel like they're being held up, a lot of them will wait as long as possible and dive in right near the end. So that's the sort of thing we're expecting to see overall. And when we see them dive in, that orange little one by their name will be cleared to let us know that they have completed their mandatory pit stop.
Oh, Steve. Oh, Steve. Oh, Steve.
He's already in the fellowship, is he not?
I don't know if he is or not, but he's going to have to get back on top. That's going to ruin a really good qualifying from him. The thing is, right, how do they do it? Like, I've never... I'm going to eat my words.
I believe it's just people who have turned their traction control off to try and get some more heat into their tyres. Trying to min-max that, and you just loud pedal out of...
Steve.
Out of trying to spin your wheels a little bit.
Oh, you can't see me, but I'm literally like leant up against my wardrobe with like my head in my hands. Just like, what? Steve.
Steve is a big fan of tactics to get more screen time, so that definitely could be it. But he's back in his place. Everything's fine.
The thing is, 9 times out of 10, I miss it. Like there was someone that got it. There was someone in yesterday's race that spun in the formation lap, and I actually completely forgot till just now. Otherwise, I would have found them for the replay. We join the Noah's Ark formation then. And Robert Brining leads us into the chicane. Drivers trying to get the last little bit of heat in their tyres. Afik and Shingle being 2 of those. Good to see Steve manage to get back in his slot before getting transported straight back to pits. I'm going to watch from the start from P6 is where I'm going to watch from. If you want to watch towards the back, and if there's any big carnage, I'll try and get it swapped round. So we're 2 by 2 then. Yes, ACC Sprint Series. This is the top tier race number 1, and we're green. It's a really good start from Matamuna and Markowski. Robert Brining kept caught napping a little bit as Afik moves to the inside line for the turn 1. He's trying to grab the slipstream of Shane Thomas's Aston Martin. So we head on to the brakes. Nice long braking zone for that, and we see that Worrell's actually found himself into P2. Great overtake there on the Lamborghini of Markowski.
Oh, we've had 2 spinners at the back. It looks like Yanba span and took out Olbu very sadly.
Oh, and Shungle and Afik have had to coming together as well in 3.
Looks like Becker also spanned but didn't hit anyone, so that has gone well. And now Matamona has taken the lead of the race, with Worrell in 2nd and Markowski in 3rd.
So Robert Brining's really got dumped down in the start. And he finds himself gone from first to fourth. So as we lead through there, Matamuni's taking us through the kink for the first time. Followed behind by Worrell, then Markowski, then Brining, then Smith. Again, great start from these two. These two Audi teammates of Worrell and Smith have found themselves a really good start. And then we've got Shane Thomas in 6th. Jonathan Shingle in 7th. Paul Glover finds himself in 8th. Ash Hudson in 9th. And Paul Joseph in 10th. There's a little bit of congestion towards the back of the hairpin. I think the Lexus of Becker or Sachs there. It might be Sachs actually. Gets the move done on some of the drivers. And let's have a little look where our injured drivers finished there. So Shingle's towards the back. He's not quite at the back. Feek is at the back, I believe. No, he's not. There is some.
Feek and Albu are 20th and 21st.
Oh, it's Janaba that's at the back.
Yeah, Janaba span into Albu and hit him pretty much nose to nose, so either of them could have a little bit of damage there, which would be unfortunate for them, of course. So we see a lot of cars coming down to the front. We've got, it looks like Litchen. Is that taking Mimsman? That is taking Mimsman. He's done him down into the first corner there. Fantastic. And now he's on the back of Kuthan as Kuthan follows Hughes and Joseph through the third corner.
He's had a great drive through in that first 3 turns as Lyson. He's got, like I say, Mimsman's and then just sprung onto the back of Kufon as well.
And these sort of drives are what made us notice him back in Nürburgring, was just not incredible qualifying, but just consistent moving up the field, overtakes after overtakes.
It was Silverstone, wasn't it? So he's so confident on the overtakes for Lyson. There's a who's that in the background? I think it was Sachs. No, it was Grealish getting past Becker. See a 5-second penalty for a Feek. Then that's got to be contact with Shingle at the start. Oh, grid's really starting to thin out. Masamune is really starting to stretch his legs at the front, open himself up a nice little 2-second gap.
Yeah, we've got a pretty consistent train going in here. As we're just spotting the few people who are trying to make moves. As we see, it looks like the Shungle, Leonard Shungle in the Porsche, has taken Olbu down the back of the field, so trying to start his climb back up to the front now. These are the sort of people as well who we'll expect to pit early, people who've got a little bit of damage, who've been in the wars early, who could do with some free air rather than being stuck with slightly slower drivers around the back. As we have a couple of 2s down the front of the order going into the front. We have Shungle on Thomas first, as Thomas goes very defensive. In the background you can see the other Aston of Glover also going defensive, and it looks like both are just going to keep their place, as Hudson and Shungle are going to have to just stay behind them for now, but Shungle especially is being very aggressive onto the back of Thomas. A couple of cars in front of them getting a little bit close as well. Brenning onto the side of Markowski, as looks like Worrell going a bit defensive into the infield section. Very close there as well. And Markowski and Brenning super fast, so Worrell is definitely going to have his hands full dealing with them.
It's literally the cork in the bottle for these two. And I mean, he can afford to avoid... Yeah. He is got a really good racing pedigree as Steve, and he won't... Oh, Steve's on the loud pedal then. He's caught the side of Markowski as well, and that's taken both of the drivers out. Worrell loud pedaling his way into the side of Markowski. It's a great way of recovering though in the background. And he's absolutely binned it as Worrell. He's binned it into the kink, and he's collected Markowski as well.
Down to 15th place, as he even gets overtaken there by Becker on the inside to take 16th. Tries to run it out and is side by side going into the last sector with him, but doesn't have the right line, and being offline on the dirty line gets a little bit of a wobble as well, and has fallen down past a Feek now as well. Although of course those two do have penalties. So,
he's going to have that big boy damage here. He's got a full speed Markowski in the side of him, and also
Feek tried to dive the Lexus as well, but gets a bit on the grass there, a bit on the dirty. So Worrell is going back there. Actually, Feek just gives him a little tap in the side, not realising quite how close he was.
You do not want to be touring car racing with that connection of a Feek. That might send you into the clouds. Hopefully Steve can recognise that earlier on.
Steve tried to dive, but it looked like a Feek was trying to dive himself. So this battle is now going to be raging for a while, as Worrell finds himself with some slower drivers which means that Matamona and Brenning are now pretty much out on their own with a less interesting race to themselves, and Smit takes up the position of his former teammate, leading a stack of cars in third position of Thomas, Schungel, and then Markowski, and it looks like Glover is even on the back of these with Hudson.
Yeah, so that collision between Worrell and Markowski has hindered both drivers quite substantially, but Markowski is obviously in a better position. He's still in 6th and within touching distance of Smith, who has now become the cork in the bottle as the teammate of Worrell. And he's got this train of, it's all the way down to Lysin, Joseph and Mimmams is the train, effectively, between 10-car battle for P3. It could be, if they all want to get involved. That is some really big damage onto the front of Markowski, though. Like, his front bumper is just, yeah, that's not where it should be.
He's going to want to be one of the ones early diving into the pits. He's had a few races driving with damage recently. He had a long time driving with damage in the Spa race, so hopefully he knows how to handle it, and he's keeping reasonable times so far, it seems. His last lap was the lap where he got hit, and it was a bit slow, but he's still on a 146.4, so the damage clearly isn't hassling him too much as he pulls back onto the racing line a bit earlier than everyone else who's fighting. In the background, we can see Hughes going very defensive as well against Kuthin.
These two are teammates as well, so they need to make sure they stay on the same page when it comes into battling, trying to get both these two cars in the top 10.
Thomas is very close on the back of Smith. I could definitely foresee something happening with these two in the near future.
Thomas is really good at driving behind, like putting pressure on other cars. So I think he will make the opportunity when he needs to make the opportunity. It's clear that Smith is the cork in the bottle here. And I mean, if you're going to be able to drive defensively in front of that Aston Martin for the next 21 minutes, then fair play to you, essentially. But he is really, really good at just sticking behind, applying pressure. But that is unfortunately allowing Brining and Matamuna just to have their own, well, not even their own race, their own hot lapping session for half an hour, effectively. Because Smith's made a 5-second gap all the way to Brining already. Let's have a little look.
We can see with this Smith-Thomas fight a consistent theme where whenever Smith goes defensive, he loses a little bit of time to Thomas, and Thomas keeps the line he can catch up. But then when Thomas tried to go a little bit aggressive himself there, ended up him getting the slightly worse line, and now Schungel is pushing on his back. So he needs to be careful to really pick his opportunities to somewhere where he knows he can make it happen.
Let's have a little look.
It looks like Glover is coming up on Markowski here. Much faster, just straight down the straight.
And the Aston can be much later on the brakes as well than the Lambo can.
Yep.
Gets
and
it
Markowski just keeps it nice and clean. Hudson now right up on the back of him, and with his damage, we could perhaps see him start to slowly fall down the order. 146.9 was that lap, so you know, quick for me, but for these guys, that's not ever so fast. As Hudson looks like he's gonna just easily sail by into the third corner.
And the fastest lap's currently sitting on Noah Matamone with a 1:44.613. That's where the fastest lap is set then, and I'll be interested to see what Becker picks up a 15-second penalty for, because I know obviously there was incidents, but as Hudson's actually got the job done on Markowski as well, so Markowski's lost two. Markowski's lost 2 positions in that lap, and ideally probably wants to see himself in the pit lane sooner rather than later. Have a little look where these battles are further down track, and it's all thinned itself out into the hairpin.
Oh, Smith has spun. Smith has been murdered by the Audi, and now Schungel is side by side with Thomas through this last sector. Doesn't quite have the right line to come in there, but still putting big pressure on Thomas as Smith has absolutely fallen down the field after that. Just see him there right near the back of this train that he was leading before.
So let's see who tackles the pits early now the lane is open. A couple of drivers have dove in, Ash Hudson being one of them. Mattia Lysing comes into the pit lane as well. As Steve Worrell, of course Steve Worrell is going to come in with that damage.
Oh, someone just hit the pit wall.
Who hit the pit wall?
Someone towards the back of this line. Was it Graylish, perhaps? Graylish is going slow down the pit straight. I think it was Graylish. He's got a little bit of a bent front end on his Porsche there.
What, hit the pit entrance, or does the pit...
The pit wall just looks like coming out of the last corner. Maybe a bit too hard on the loud pedal on that. Bit too much on the curb.
Oh, we've just jumped back in the replay, and actually he's caught the loud pedal on the AstroTurf, and then been caught between Afik and I'm not sure who else he was fighting with, but Afik was definitely involved. Not involved as in doing the damage, but more.
Yeah, just in the vicinity.
In the vicinity of the damage. Let's wait for this catch up with live pictures then. We've got Bludyshev Bastian with the Lexus of Sachs, with then Grealish with that big chunk of damage. Thomas finds himself in third following the incidents between Worrell and Schmidt.
And something interesting to point out about that as well is that now that Schmidt is, as you said, no longer bottling or corking that bottle, Thomas has now managed to pull some legs on Schungel pretty reasonably quickly. So Schungel no longer putting on the pressure that he was before, and Thomas can have a smooth run towards the finish. So we see Bruce from the back of the field diving into the pits there.
So who is on their way out? So Bruce is in, Yanaba's out, Joseph's in. There's a battle further down the order between Hughes and Kufon. The two teammates are weaving left and right down the start-finish straight. Hughes trying to break the slipstream. Who's going to be on the brakes? The Aston's got the more braking power than he needs to. And they're going to carry this on into lap number 8 then. So Hudson on the way out of the pit lane. But we haven't seen Markowski pit yet. So he must have managed to tame the damage, I assume.
Did a 46.4 last lap, which is a pretty reasonable time. This really made me happy here. His fastest lap of the race is exactly 1:45 to the 1000th.
Oh, Markowski's, yeah, it's exactly. And Brining has gone and set a quick fastest lap of the race, so 1:44.598.
So he's going to have to set a few more of those to rein in Matamuna, but he's doing it at the moment. Matamuna had a reasonably slow lap last lap, and so that gap is starting to come down. As Glover is also pulling up on Schungel, and Markowski is side by side with Hughes. So Hughes doesn't take the position, but this Hughes-Kufen fight has now come right up on the white Lamborghini.
Let's see who enters the pits on this rotation. None of the front drivers have. Hughes
has dived in, yeah.
Hughes has entered the pit lane.
It's a good decision by him, I think, because he manages to get out of having to overtake that slightly slower Lamborghini. As we see Afik and Mimsman, that is. Afik trying to put a move on Mimsman down the straight, diving out to the inside of the track. Got those fantastic Aston Martin brakes to get into that corner ahead of the Porsche. And he has the inside line as well. Nice, smooth exit, and he's even pulling away on exit. That's a fantastic work from Afik there. Up into 9th place, but he has not yet stopped, and he does have that 5-second penalty that he is carrying.
So a few drivers picking up the penalties, and if we're about halfway now, we are halfway now through the pit window, so we've still got a big chunk of our drivers.
Did Worrell not pit?
What's that?
Did Worrell not pit?
Worrell
I thought
did
he'd
pit.
Dived in there. But he still has his pit stop remaining on the in-game UI.
Well, I don't know what to suggest. I saw him go in the pits, but his UI is not cleared, and I can only expect that he
perhaps made a mistake with his setup and didn't change something. Do you need to change tyres or fuel?
It's a
or
mandatory
something?
tyre change, so
maybe he didn't have that selected on or something.
Yeah,
Could be a big mistake if that was true.
And he is our Lord and Saviour and the founder of ACC Sprint Series, but it is not the first time that Steve Roll hasn't managed to pit. And actually, you see Robert Bryant. Oh, it's because that's killed a hype. I was like, yes, Robert Brining's on the lead. And actually, that's because Matamune's in the pit. All of our front runners have actually now dove into the pits. So Matamune's in, Thomas is in, Shingle's in, Glover's in, Markowski, Kufon, Mimmams all entering the pits on this lap. As we see another 5-second penalty for Hutchinson.
So Brenning, Afik, Hutchinson, Olbu and Worrell are the only ones to have not come in the pit yet, although it looks like Hutchinson and Olbu are doing so right now. So it's just Afik and Brenning now who are left out still to pit.
And actually, because these drivers have got mandatory pit stops, they can clear their time penalties in the pit lane. So that's where we've seen where Becker's 15 seconds has disappeared from, because he has taken that in his pit stop.
Pretty great addition in the one of the recent updates.
And penalties cleared for 37, which was Albu, who's given a 5-second penalty, and that has been cleared. But that could... Wait, was that cleared by race control or cleared for the pit stop?
He is in the pits, so...
I just saw it come up
I'd
in the bottom right
assume-
that it was cleared, but I didn't know it was cleared by... Anyway, doesn't matter. He's not got a penalty anymore, has Albu, who finds
Cleared
himself...
either way, yeah.
So who is in the lead on track after the pit stops? It looks like it's going to be... Is he out and he's out and flying? Is he? Yeah. So Matamuni then in the lead. Thomas in P2. Shungal in P3. Brining actually enters the pits as well now, so he's looking to clear his pit stop. The last one left to go then is Worrell went through the pits and has had to go through the pits again. So that is why we find Worrell is still in the pits. He's going to find himself probably a lap down now. Needs to move on from this race and find himself race number. A better result on race number 2 as Afik, the last of the pitters. So that puts Matamuni then in the lead on the racetrack. I'll be interested to see when Brining gets moving, because Matamuni is just coming up to the hairpin now. It's not a long pit lane in this session, but Brining finds himself in the middle of it. Either way.
Absolutely, and it's been interesting watching this pit lane as well. Quick shout out to Paul Glover, who out of everyone I watched seemed to be the person who got it right on the limit the most with slowing down for the pit stop. Was just slowed down right by the line. As we see, Matamona is car number 25, so he's just on the AstroTurf on the outside coming down the straight. So it looks like it's going to roar into the lead in this point. There he is.
Shane Thomas coming around the last corner. Then we've got this big old pack of cars, which Steve Hughes has had a great job in the pit stops. He could find himself in P4 here, I expect, on track from P7 or P8? He was with Kufon, obviously, as well.
Yeah, he was around there towards the 6th or 7th. But I think you're right, as we see Shungal in the background going side by side with Markowski. Markowski taking the big wide line, trying to get a really nice run out of this turn.
Markowski also not taking the decision not to repair the damage in the pit stop as well, because he's still got that front end damage.
Clearly didn't think it was worth the extra added time in the pit stops. Which could be true, but we are seeing him still falling down the order, so it's a hard decision to make, but as he just has a tiny little touch there with Hudson, but decent racing between the two. Hudson's going to have to give it here, and he does. As Schmidt now looking, and he dives into the inside line. A very brave move by Schmidt, but if he gets the drive out of here, and he does, fantastic little move.
Fantastic overtake there from Schmidt. That's a great move on the inside. Finally, the Audi has stuck by him and tried to kill him going into the
pit window is closed.
corners. The pit window closed, and all the drivers have made their pits. Unfortunately, we see Steve Worrell at the back of the grid, a lap down on the nearest competitor to him. Actually, he is about... Steve Worrell's going around turn 1 now, and the car in front is coming into turn 4. So that's his target for the race. But this is the pack on field that we want to watch. It's the pack for P6, or P7, sorry, with Markowski at the front of the pack now. Schmidt, Hudson, and Paul Glover find themselves included in the battle.
Yeah, and as we see them come across the line, we can check some of these times. It looks like even a few of the people behind might be a little bit faster and closing up as well. Markowski actually pulls out a nice little run there, and Smith's now having to defend from the cars behind them as Markowski sets another slow 46. The cars behind him mostly on fast 46s and a few in the 45s. So he's still struggling on pace, and he's going to be the bottle cap here as Smith is heavily defending from Hudson there, really aggressively going for it, but not managing to make anything of it. Got to be careful that he doesn't end up letting Glover past.
Yes, we're on board with Glover at the moment.
Putting himself to the inside, but not going to be able to make anything there. Nice corner with sort of a couple of slightly different lines you can go here, so he could try and get a good run out, which it looks like he is. Awkward positioning, he won't be able to do anything right here unless Hudson goes wide, which he sort of did, doesn't manage to dive into the inside, so he's going to have to follow him for a little bit longer. And the next real chance he's going to get is going to be the end of the back straight.
Yes, our grid's really, our driver order, with 8 minutes left to go on the race, has really thinned itself out, and there's not too many battles actually, with Kufon looking at Kufon and Hughes being the only other battle, the two teammates.
Absolutely, I think we've seen maybe a few too many incidents in the chicane, and our top split drivers have, or perhaps noticed this, or not in the hairpin. Sorry, our top split drivers have perhaps noticed this and decided not to make some of the aggressive moves that we saw in our rookie splits. So perhaps we're going to have to wait more for turn 1 to see these big moves. Or Hudson goes very wide and Glover's already passed him.
Yeah, so Glover gets that move done, and actually Joseph and Lysin and Afik as well. All of these drivers have cleared their penalties now. So these are all legitimate battles on track. Are all closing into this group that have been, well, was originally set up by Markowski, but Markowski and Smith have both started to be able to drive away from that following that incident of Hudson in the last corner running himself a little bit wide coming out of the chicane.
A little bit of wiggle coming out of the first few corners as well. So getting towards the end of this race and a bit low fuel, he's maybe finding his setup a little less stable than it was before. To the back of some people further behind, as Leonard Schungel has a bit of a problem in the back of the field.
I just saw a yellow flag, and it was Leonard Schungel off around 3. That's given the pass to Janapa then. So these two.
Kufin's made it past Hughes, but Hughes is fighting back. That's not a place to pass.
That's not the place to go for a fight, especially not in that McLaren. That McLaren might kill you on the kink, and it's actually opened the door for Schungel to get involved as well then.
Yeah, he should have backed out of there earlier and taken a run down towards the hairpin, but he's now got to fight the other way with Kufin. They've both been pretty consistent, pretty close in a lot of their racing that we've seen in this split, so could definitely see them following each other for this whole race.
Schungel looking at the inside then, as we see a great camera angle on the back of Kufon. Then we see Schungel go on the out for the outside into the entry of the chicane, and then cut off the nose of the McLaren of Hughes.
He just took so much more speed in there than Hughes managed to, and just put himself in a position where Hughes had nowhere to go. Fantastic move there by Jonathan Schungel, and now he gets to move on to the other one of those two. And like we said, these two are very consistent between each other with their pace. So if you've got the speed to take one of them, you've got the speed to take both of them. Yeah,
definitely. And I mean, you see behind that Smith, Glover, and that trio, this big line of cars now that's forming up behind Glover, as Smith runs himself as a really wide line through 3. And that's just going to invite Glover to come and have a little crack at him.
Yeah, Glover's been really clean through there, so he's going to have a lot of drive coming behind him, making sure to set himself up early for this corner.
This is where
super close.
Exactly. This is where the opportunity is going to present itself. If one of these two drivers get a better line through the kink, I don't think it's even going to get that far. Glover's looking, or he's just let him go a little bit through the kink. He's going to have to line it up on the straight going into the hairpin. He looks on the outside then.
Nice defensive line from Smith is going to take him right through the apex. Nice aggressive driving here, but not too overzealous.
Yeah, they're not trying to kill each other, but they're just trying to have better drives than they can. Glover now looking for the inside of the chicane. Catches a little bit of sausage on the entry. That's going to invite Hudson to get involved as well. This little pack still fighting their way around. We've probably got 2 or 3 laps more left to go. Brining is actually eating into the gap of the lead of Masamune as well. And he's only down to 2.7 seconds now. You can now see him. So that's the little carrot on the stick, as it were, for Brining to get the chase done on Masamune. The gap's come down from about 6 seconds down to just a couple. As we see this pack back on board with this pack anyway. So go through 1, 2 and 3. The really sweeping sections. Glover had, this time it's Glover's turn to have the loose line round 3.
Absolutely, Hudson now pulling onto the back of these two as well through that corner. And we can see it's through this infield that Glover seems to have a big speed advantage on Smith there, but there's just not huge passing opportunities here. You really need to just hold your line behind someone until you can get down to the hairpin and try and make it go there if you can. But we've seen that a lot of the top split have not wanting to do this.
Glover didn't back out of that one. He backs out of the one on the last lap, but had the inside line into the kink. But chose not to back out of that one. But he has compromised his exit going down the straight into the hairpin. So now needs to find a different approach of how he's going to get this job done on Smith. Because Smith is... as again, he's also finding himself to be the cork in the bottle. Between Smith's holding up Glover, Hudson, Joseph, Lysin and Afik, all in this group of cars behind Smith. And actually Mimmams is looking to tag on as well for the last 2-minute journey.
This is the dangerous, very scary point here as a defending driver, where you know you've defended and slowed the guy behind you down for long enough that if you make a mistake now, it won't just be Glover getting past. Hudson will be past, and possibly even Joseph and Litchin could be as well, as they're having a bit of their own battle, which is slowing them up, as we see a big dive down there from Afik, I believe that was. So Afik jumped up a position there in front of Litchin and is now the one following Joseph, so a great drive from him.
Glover's
continuing his climb up the order.
Glover's still looking for this. I'm just having a look at the Delta at the moment, and it looks like Shingle has done the job on, or he had done the job on Hughes a few laps back, but now looking to jump the progress up to Stepan Couton in P4, yeah. As Sachs gets the job done then on Grealish and puts himself up into 15th. Actually, Grealish looking to answer back with the inside into 7. Oh, as they're coming together, there's a little touring car nudge, but nothing to worry too much between that Porsche and the Lexus of Grealish and Sachs. And Sachs is just going to tuck himself in behind, but Bludishev's looking to stare down the barrel of the gun then and get onto the back of this group. So the leader is on the final lap, and Brining, I don't think he's going to find 2.5 seconds now between Masamune and the leading group. But Shingle could find the job on Kufon down the start-finish. And Glovers also needs to find the job on Smith then. So this is going to be the last sort of opportunity that these drivers are going to have.
Yeah, we didn't see it on stream, but there was a little bit of a messy incident in going through the hairpin. No collisions or anything, but about all of these drivers in this little chain here was going wide or something. So a lot of them were slowed down, and it sort of neutralised that battle a little bit going into the last lap of our race.
Glover looked for it then on the looked for it on late on the brakes on Smith, but actually had more of a job having to defend from Hudson than he could do any attacking on Smith. Look at, as we saw from that rear view cam of Smith, he was trying to break the toe of Hudson. He's still trying to defend. As, Glover takes the inside line through 3 and 4.
And that's likely put him off of any chance of attacking Smith this lap, unless he can make up some real headway in this middle sector, as Hudson is now fed up waiting for Glover to get past and wants to make his own move just behind there.
We are actually going to jump on the battle at the front because we're coming into the hairpin section, but Briney's got the gap down to a second. So I don't know if Matamune I don't think he's not slowing down enough that he's running out of fuel, but I think Matamuna had an issue going into the hairpin, and it's just given Brining the chance to attack. But as we cross the line then for the end of race 1, Noah Matamune is your race 1 winner with Brining in 2. Thomas finds himself in 3, and that could seal his job done at top of the table. Kufon and Shungle then are battling. Oh, this job's done. This Kufon's in 4, Shungle in 5, Steve Hughes in 6, and we need to find this gap behind between Smith, Glover and Hudson.
Yeah, they're following each other, but no overtakes are going to happen. It's
I think it's going to be Afik. It's going to be between Afik and Joseph to the line. Then who's going to get 11th? Oh, it's going to be Joseph. Then Joseph crosses the line and gets himself P11. Then let's get our driver of the day vote ready. Then in the chat.
Just look at that. Afik dives off at the end of the pit lane. That's what I do on Barcelona. That's the correct end of race move. Shout out to Afik for that.
You need to be completing your final laps. Let's so get your vote for driver of the day in the chat as we go. Steve Worrell,
who could get the driver of the day?
Steve Worrell for the win in the chat from Steve. So P1 then for Noah Matamone, P2 for Robert Brining, P3 for Shane Thomas, P4 for Stepan Couton, P5 for Jonathan Shingle, P6 for Steve Hughes, P7 for Michael Markowski, P8 for Jermaine Smith, P9 for Paul Glover, P10 for Ash Hudson. Then that's going to be your vote for driver of the day. I'm fully aware that I've slated Markowski's first name, but I was in a little bit of a flow, so I just went with it. Let's get these podium names on. So there we go. That's going to secure our top 3 drivers. I know he's not called Michael. He told me his name, and I haven't got the patience to work it out at the moment.
Matchy.
So last chance to get your driver of the day vote in the chat then. 6 votes so far. It could be the last. Well, it's going to be the last opportunity next race then for driver of the day, and it looks like it's going to go to let's turn that on. Noah Matamone then. Well done. I've also spelt your name wrong. Let me just fix that quickly. So Noah Matamone, Noah Matamona gets driver of the day and the win as well. Well done, that person with a very funky livery. We're just waiting for the drivers to return to the garage. Who impressed you? Who impressed you the most, Gareth, going into race number 2? Before we head into race number 2,
seeing Kufin, Hughes and Shungle, that little group there, they've all been doing really well, super consistent, staying out of trouble. Didn't see any of them getting into any sort of knocks or bumps between them. Afik made a pretty good comeback drive after the incidents he had early on in the race. And then obviously just our front runners, Thomas is still super consistent and still failing to ever win a race. And then Brennan and Matamona are absolutely great. Huge shout outs to Matamona, who looks like he's going to run away with the vote because he really deserves it. He had a fantastic race.
Yeah, he does secure himself driver of the day then. So we're into race number 2. Let's get this on screen for you. 2 seconds. Swap over to the game stream then. So we're looking at the grid order for race number 2. And we're looking, ideally, I think we're looking for a better result from that man on screen there. Steve Worrell in that black and yellow, or black and gold even, sorry. No, it is black and yellow, it's just chrome yellow. Audi, I think if he can have do himself a good bit of justice in this last race, I feel like it's on the cards for him. Definitely, like he definitely deserves the win. He's had such a difficult first season, and he can't see himself falling behind too far in the championship, or he might end up in the bottom split for Bathurst.
And he did such a great job in qualifying as well that, you know, all he needs to do is keep it clean and not let that damn Audi murder him once again.
Yeah, the Audi murdered both him and Jermaine in that race, and it's they just need to tame it a little bit. Hopefully they might not, or not hopefully. I don't want them not to drive a car, but they might not drive it next season. So I
No,
see.
they're definitely not driving. There's no way they're driving it next season. Thomas and me have been talking with Worrell in a few of the practices about what car he should move on to. So he's definitely he's already in the testing phase of
Basically, he's going to be driving a Ford Focus next season. It's the only thing that won't kill him. Right, so
kill him.
Yeah, we'll go through the grid order then for race number 2. We've got Robert Bryning finds himself on pole with a fantastic 1:44 flat lap in qualifying. Matamone in P2, Markowski in P3, Worrell in P4, Shane Thomas then in P5. Leonard Schungel in P6, Paul Glover and Mohamed Afiq are 7 and 8. Jermaine Smith, Ash Hudson are 9 and 10. Then we see Jonathan Schungel and Madam Mimmams in 11 and 12. Joseph and Kufon in 13 and 14. Yanapa and Hughes in 15 and 16. Becca, Bludyshev make up 17 and 18. Lysin and Grealish close out your top 20. Then we see Corbion, Albu and Florian Sachs. Sorry, the other way around. Florian Sachs and Albu in 21st and 22, and then Wayne Hutchinson and Norman Bruce find themselves in the back of the order. Oh, you've got to put some spaces in there, my man.
I was trying to do as little tapping on my keyboard as possible. All right.
That's why you just need a hotkey like that.
We got the Steve Worrell thinking emote. I've only just created this emote, right?
I saw this. Someone had that. Oh, it was you anyway, but people had that emote. Well, the longer we wait, Julian, the more Stream Racer we get. So, but I appreciate how quick you're going to get the turnaround for the results for me. But we are going to have some Stream Racer at the end of this race. So if you are sticking around at the end while we get some interviews going and we can talk about next season and the results from this season, you need to keep yourselves entertained because we had some great fun with Stream Racer on Friday, and we're gonna.
You get your head down, Steve. Good luck.
Yeah, you go and do some racing. Oh, but yeah,
just to make sure to remind everyone, because it's very important. Obviously, Catalonia is your home.
Let's get that on some sweeping camera action through the crowds of Catalonia, and then Catalonia is your home.
Yeah, they're definitely doing a bad job of social distancing in there.
What, in this crowd?
Yeah, look at them.
Look at them all.
Outrageous.
There's no gaps between families in there. Look at them. This person's really not happy. Look at this dude. I mean, he's just not a happy chappy, is he, at the end of the day? This dude's just looking for... He's not out here looking for race cars, let's put it that way. This guy right here is just staring me out. So we'll get back to the action on track then. We get back on track as our drivers start to move off then for the start of the formation lap.
Oh, where's my broadcasting tool? I was too busy looking at the crowd. Come back.
I'll tell you what, we were talking in the week about the vertical monitor for the broadcasting tool. It's really good, except the fact that it automatically fills the names out with the space, but still doesn't get. I still have to scroll down for the cameras.
Yeah, I spend every day at the beginning of our broadcast. I spend a little while trying to get the camera controls to come up to a level where I can see them with the things, and I've managed it, but it's always a fight.
Well, we're having a revamp of the broadcasting tool, which Mr. Eckendal's so kindly put together for us.
God bless that man.
And it's going to combine the stewarding tool alongside the broadcast tool. So when there's an incident,
exciting,
we can see the incident. We can click on that, and it may even take us to a replay of the incident.
So we will know when Albu's penalty gets cleared that it was cleared by the stewards, and we'll know why.
Exactly, we'll know why. See,
that's good.
Because Leonard has put a lot of effort into making a custom-made stewarding tool for all our live stewards. And it's actually really interesting when you look at it in the background. As we're just filling a little bit while they're doing the formation lap, and unfortunately no one's spinning at the moment. But he's made a tool in which when two drivers' cars collide in game, it logs that incident in a spreadsheet for them to go back and have a look at exactly when they collide. So you don't even have to see them collide. The tool itself will track the cars in game and register that as a collision.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's a great bit of kit. And I felt really bad for Anders because originally we asked him him to move the cameras from the camera options from the right-hand side of the broadcast tool to the bottom of the broadcaster tool, and then 4 weeks later I asked him to put them back to where they were. Oh, Leonard. Leonard.
Oh, Leonard.
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 Leonard. Outrageous.
And
We
it's
have
just
another man for the fellowship.
We do have another man for the fellowship, and it is the man we were praising so highly. And actually, might not even get into the back of this because we've gone 2 by 2. Oh, he does manage to creep himself back in. So we've joined the Noah's Ark formation. As per usual, I'll look at the front if you want to look at the back. And we head into the Noah's Ark formation. There's a really... Oh, it's Albu that just jumped forward. A few too many places. He pretty much slammed his brakes on at the back. Yeah, number 100 billion caster curse.
I did not mention the man's name. I just want to point that out.
I was talking about him and then he just absolutely bins himself. Like, I thought it was Lars was the one with the curses, but actually it could be me. So here we go.
Lars
then.
Definitely
It's
has the curses
the
as well.
final race then of ACC Sprint Series. It's the top tier, round 5 at Barcelona, and it's foot to the floor. We go green. It's a better start from... Oh, there's Worrell and Markowski touch. And that's going to slow Markowski down into the grasps of Thomas. Worrell has a good start though. Breining's not had a good start either session here. He finds himself probably in P4 again after the start. But Markowski's getting absolutely swamped by the midfield here. And Smith and Markowski, Glover towards the mid-pack. Bloodyshev finds him alongside with the Lexuses who have had a collision I see in the back. I think they're all still
Becker
moving.
just tapped Janba, but they're both okay.
So Markowski then forward down the order with that collision with Worrell at the start. But we lead as we go round. It looks like Matamune in first place. We'll let the timing beam catch everybody. So there we go. Matamune back into first where he belongs then. And then Worrell in P2. And there's three. Oh, they're 3 wide behind. Oh, there is Markowski spun. Markowski spun and collected Glover as well. And then they're all just queuing up like the motorway to watch the incident. Literally, it's just a line of love taps.
Oh, too many rubbernecks there, getting into some issues at the back of the field.
So as Shingle just wipes out the hoarding for the national track. So
it was going to go sooner or later.
It was going to go sooner or later. I mean, it went in free practice in yesterday's race. So Matamune then leads Worrell round the hairpin, and it's Shingle behind. Breining finds himself in 4th. Again, he's not had great starts either of these races. And then we've got a Feek. Better start from him in P5. A little bit loose, though, coming through that right-hander. And then Shane Thomas finds himself in P6. We head into the hairpin for the first time. And it looks like Breining's looking for the inside of... oh, wrong camera. Looking for the slipstream on Shingle. Shingle trying to break it in front. There's an issue. There's an incident in the hairpin. The chicane, sorry. Involving car 170, which is Markowski again. Markowski sees him facing backwards in the hairpin as well.
That's super frustrating for one of our fastest drivers to have such an awful first lap and right down in last position now. So he's going to just have to do what he can, just try and calm down and keep it steady from now on, so that he doesn't make any more mistakes, because he can't afford any more time loss.
There's no chance of that happening because he has left the server. No, he hasn't. Ignore me. It just didn't show up on my timing screen. I thought he was gone.
It's okay. We have this race. We got at least the benefit that Matamone has not bolted as fast as our leaders have in most of our races today. Worrell is still within that second to him, and Shungle, Brenning, Athik, Thomas are also still in a good bit close to him. Good to see Athik right up there. Leonard Shungle as well had a bad race last time. So we've got a nice change of order at the top. See some more people racing as Brenning going side by side there with Athik. Had a little bit of a bad exit from there, but not a move is going to be made. Feek pushing very aggressively though. Doesn't want to stay behind this McLaren for too long. As we see, Shungle going down 3 wide into that corner. Takes Hudson. Doesn't quite take Smith, but that's a strong move from Shungle. Shungle making a lot of strong moves in that chicane. Same thing we saw him do to...
it's Hughes in the last race. Oh! Have we lost connection to the server? No, we haven't lost connection to the server. That was a really weird glitch on my... Everyone just absolutely scattered on my screen. I don't know what happened there. Everyone just completely scattered on my screen.
Oh, yeah, I just saw that on the replay. That was a interesting little mini disconnect there. But if you're still going, it's all good.
Yeah, I'm still here.
I'm still up.
I thought Hudson binned it, and then I just saw everyone in the last corner just shoot a billion different directions. I was like, oh, there goes my connection. But I'm assuming everyone
can have a few good trains at the front now, and it looks like there's some battling going up behind here with Becca. Becca has dived down the side of Lichen and has taken that position very strongly there. Is just ahead of them. We can see Yanba trying to pull one on Albu, but can't quite do it. Albu is going to lead on in that little battle.
God, this pack from car number 27, which is Jermaine Smith, again finds himself the cork in the bottle of this pack of another 6 cars that go all the way, stretch all the way back to Hughes in 13th.
And Kufan right on the back of Mimsman here. Going to dive down the inside. Just can't do it though. A little bit too slowed down. He is side by side of Mimsman now, but Mimsman's going to have the better run into the rest of the last sector, so he's going to smartly back out of that.
The drivers lead as Massimiliano leads us round then for the 3rd lap. It's a hell of a lot of congestion all the way in the middle of the pack, and it's just... There's Lysin actually looking for a move on to Becker. He's got this toe. He's got a really big toe there from the start, down the start-finish straight. Can you look on the inside in that GTR of his? He cannot. Let's have a little look at the front of the order then. So Massimuna leads us round 4. And then it's Steve Wall behind him still. Not being killed by that Audi yet, which is a good start from him. And then we've got Shingle out on the attack with Brining in behind. They've started to put a little bit of a time difference into Afik and Thomas. And then we've got the cork in the bottle, which is Jermaine Smith then. So our time penalty starts to roll in for Markowski for the incident at the start, I would assume. So he finds himself 2 5-second penalties. And Smith is holding up the back of Shingle. And then we've got a little gap to Hudson and Mimmams. And then Joseph Kufon and Hughes find themselves the next little battle on track.
I thought you'd made a mistake there, but it turns out both Smith and Worrell, the 2 yellow Audi teammates, are both holding up different shingles.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, so there we go. We'll have a look at Steve Worrell as he gets on through the chicane.
2 Astons just in the background of this fight, having their own little fight, slowing each other down, slightly losing touch with Brenning, Shingle and Worrell ahead of them. There's a Feek just having to defend a little bit from Thomas there. Shingle going very wide in defence from Brenning, who's now taking the racing line. They're going to be side by side into this corner, so it's all on their braking. Good job from both of them, but Brenning just a little bit further back, and on that curb, slightly just throws his car off and falls down. This has given Worrell a little bit of breathing room, so he can calm down and just focus on his own laps. Ooh, a Feek there. Making a really good run through that corner. Unfortunately, once again, we're in that sort of middle part of the track where there isn't much overtaking to be done right now.
No, there's not a lot to be done, really, is there? Like, there's just... Everyone's got to get themselves in a nice little flow. The pit window's about to open. I think we might see a few drivers tackle that pit window quite early.
Saying that, however, Bloody Chef has taken Becker down the back. A good move by him in that purple Ferrari.
There's a nice looking Ferrari. Bruce, unfortunately.
Brenning is still being aggressive to Shingle, but not able to make it. And that's actually opened him up to a Feek there, but just blocking a Feek. Just good positioning on his car, and a Feek can't get past. But that's thrown it. Shingle now has started to get a little bit of a lead out as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, Bruce is not having a race to remember. He's about 30 seconds off the back of the pack. He's had a few incidents himself. He's found himself in a bit of a mare. But yeah, it's all a learning curve at the end of the day. Like I said, the top 3 will get you banned. The bottom 3 will get demoted into silver next season. As Thomas has got the run then on a Feek in down the start-finish straight.
Absolutely, going side by side, both the Astons. So no braking advantage coming down here. It's just full on what they can do. Thomas is still a little bit back, and he is on the outside. If Feek can hold a strong line through here, he could hold it, but it doesn't look like he is. Thomas got a better run out of that corner. Really brave on the accelerator. Good job by him. Has thrown himself ahead. And as you're talking about Bruce not doing too well, if he does get too low in the order, the bright side is he'll be dropped down to silver, and then he'll be able to dominate there.
Yeah, exactly. See, that's the whole point of. You feel bad when you're like, you feel bad when we go. They're going to get relegated, but they're going to get relegated into a division that's better suited for them. Like this was our first season, so a few places. What we all win.
Almost hitting the back of Shungle there. I think he actually did hit the back very gently. But carrying just a bit too much speed into that corner, it's looking like he really wants to get past soon. Shungle is not holding up the sort of speeds that Hudson wants to see in a car in front of him. So both of these two just ahead of Smith.
So I'm assuming the Audi of Smith must have killed himself because he was at the front of these two. And they've both got through on the same lap. So I'm assuming
some sort of murder probably went on.
Smith may have had a little bit of a loose moment. He's now having to defend from Joseph. Still finds himself in the top 10 though, as Worrell is Leonard Shungle is actually chasing down that Audi now of Steve Roy. He's going to start to put a little bit of pressure on him. Question is though, can Steve Roy muster up a good pit stop? That is going to be the real question. He put the rule in place as he dives into the pits. Let's see if he clears it. So let's see who goes in. So Worrell's in. Breining's actually gone for a really early stop this time round. Breining's in as well. Let's see who else joins them then. So that is Mimmams is in, I believe. Hughes had a really loose last corner. Kept himself on the grey tarmac.
Load of back markers coming in. It looks like we have Janba. We have, is that Bloody Chev in his purple Ferrari, and then the green of Litchen and Paul Glover also coming into pit. So a big gaggle of back markers trying to get in, get this in early, get into some clean air and push forward.
Smith now having to defend from Paul Joseph. Paul Joseph looks like get the move done on the outside of 4. Can't make it stick, and actually has opened the door for Kufon to have a look at at Joseph as well on the outside of 5. Nothing. He
could do a switch back here as Joseph goes really wide, and
I think he's got it done. He has got it done.
He's got it.
It's a great overtake there from Kufon then, but Joseph looking to respond into 7. Nothing to be done there, and the Audi gets its way through 8 as well.
Worrell and Brenning both coming out as the first 2 people to leave the pits.
And Worrell has managed to clear a pit stop.
Absolutely. So he is first on the track of the people who have pitted. So now it's a straight battle between him, Matamuna, and the drivers who are just behind him, like Shungle, to see who can set the fastest laps in clean air and who can come out as Shungle dives in. So we're going to get the answer to one of these questions very soon.
Yeah, so Shingle needs to is looking to do the undercut on Worrell. Smith joins the pits as well. Feek then finds his way up to P3. Thomas in P2. Matamunu 8-second lead then in P1. But bearing in mind, a lot of these drivers, I think P1 to P5 before the pit stops have already entered the pits.
It's looking reasonably good for Worrell to get out ahead of Shungle still. He's about where we saw the pit stop battle going on last race with, I think, Brenning and Matamuna. And so I wouldn't be surprised if he gets down there ahead of Shungle. Shungle has just dropped from his jacks now, and Worrell is already coming through the chicane. It could be close. Coming out of the back corner now. Shungle is a little bit earlier than I expected. He's managing to get on the power now. So he has jumped him.
He has
Fantastic
jumped
work.
then in the pit lane. But then we're always carrying more top speed into the start, so it's going to be close.
Absolutely, and now Worrell has to put on the fights with Shungle. They have swapped position in the pits, and Shungle is now the leader of those who have not, or who have pit. Sorry. Absolutely. So coming here into the infield sector again, we'll get to see if Worrell will be able to hunt Shungle down, because Shungle seems to have the legs on Worrell before the pit stops. He was just hunting him down and was getting slowed down slightly by having to defend from behind. So my assumption would be that what we'll see is Shungle just pulling out a slight lead after the first lap. We'll really get to see, but he hasn't done it visibly yet. Oh, save there from Worrell. Good job. This is the position where I think someone like Worrell could end up making one of those huge mistakes, though, because he is now going to be stressed out by this. He's going to be thinking, I've got to make that position back. Position that, you know, he might feel is rightfully his. Little wiggle there through the chicane as well. Don't let that Audi kill you, my friend. And as we come through the lap, we can see that Shungle, with actually a very slightly slower time.
It looks like, is that Thomas has done the undercut on them both as well?
That is. Yeah, Thomas has just come out the pits. Matamona also coming out the pits. So a lot of people have got ahead of Shungle and Worrell, it seems. Obviously, there are a couple of those who are still in the pits that haven't updated. But there we go. Matamona and Thomas are both ahead of Shungle and Worrell. So fantastic pit stop from Thomas, who has done this before. But nice clean work from Matamona as well, who's got still a 4-second lead. Fantastic. And it's a good job that Thomas got out there ahead, because now he can roar off ahead and
now he's got the
blocked by anyone ahead.
Now he's got the clean air to go and attack onto the back of Matamona. If anyone's going to do it, it would likely going to be Thomas. That's a very consistent drive from him, and he needs to find himself a win, or he's going to be top of the table here with sweet 0 wins. But the rest of our drivers are slowly creeping themselves. Jonathan Shingle's in the pits. Kufon, Hughes, Markowski then from the back, near the back of the order, is in the pits as well. Let me see, Glover's cleared his time penalty. I wonder if Markowski will do the same then. And hopefully we just need Afik and Hudson to find themselves in the pit lane. And we'll be able to clear. We'll be able to work out where the order is. So I'm just assuming that with Worrell out the way in the pits early, it's given the Shungle and Thomas duo to enough time to stretch their legs, and that's where they've. Unfortunately, we can't go any further back than maybe one lap in the timing screen.
But they clearly banged in a really nice in-lap before they went into those pits, because Shungle only came in the lap after Worrell. So it's that in-lap and then Worrell not quite being confident enough on the out-lap has seemingly secured that for Shungle, and Thomas had a couple more laps just to stretch his legs beforehand.
Oh, Shungle's really weird. Really loose then. That's going to open the door for Worrell then on the inside. Thomas was loose, and I noticed Thomas getting a little bit slidey through 4, and then Shungle was like, I'll show you how it's done, my friend. Hold my beer. And then put himself in the wall on the exit of 4.
Hudson and Afik both in the pits are last 2 to pit, unless there's someone hiding down the bottom, which there is not.
No. Markowski and Glover find themselves close together down the order as well. Well, not close together, as the Audi of Worrell has not killed him as much as you'd expect it to kill him, but it has done some damage.
He almost killed himself there a few laps ago as well, so he's getting That's going to destroy his confidence. He's really going to lose speed through there just because he desperately does not want to bin it.
And that's where it killed Smith last race as well. So it's just the Audi doesn't like that. Oh, he's caught the sausage as well on the chicane.
He wheeled there last lap as well. Stop it, Worrell. Stop playing with us.
Stop playing with our heartstrings, man. We need you to have a good result. So we see then, has Afik come out the pit lane yet? Is the question. Oh, he's moving now, but I don't think he's going to get in front of this battle. He is getting up to speed.
Hudson is still in there. He's just left, so he might even lose a few more places.
So we just need Worrell to get himself in a rhythm. He's got Robert Briney. He's got the dude that needs to put the work in to get him there. But he needs to get himself in a rhythm and just find out something. Get everything going. Get everything settled down. We're going to stay on board with him through this lap as well. 10 minutes
get to those two positions that he keeps having little wiggles and just see if he can be a little calmer on his right foot and get through them nice and safely. Preserve this position. Take nice, strong defensive lines. Don't lose too much time, but just make sure that Brenning can't do any sort of dive on you. Brenning is a driver that you can trust to race with. He's not going to expect any sort of crazy dive bombs. So if you just stay sensible, then you can do this. So the first one is after this on the acceleration.
And the thing is, though, is I want to go and move to another part of the track, but I also want to see. Oh, he's a little wiggle, but he's not killed him as much as it would have. And I'm going to have to jump somewhere else on track because there's battles all over the place. And Hughes has made up some great positions in the pit lane. These two guys really experienced on the longer endurance sort of sprint. So Hughes is up to 7th behind Afik. Kufon finds himself in 8th. Hudson is in 9th following that pit window. And he is now the cork in the bottle for the Smith train of Hudson, Smith, Mimmams, and Jonathan Shingles. Actually, he was higher up, wasn't he, before the pits? Or did we miss something while I was away for a second?
No, I didn't see any big incidents with Jonathan Shingles. So he has definitely lost a few points through pit stopping and possibly having a little mix-up himself. Worrell, I can confirm, did the exact same wiggle coming through the chicane.
So he's getting there. He just needs to settle himself down a little bit. And there's a few cars.
Similar to my experience with the BMW, it's the two places where you're in the lowest gear, where you're just getting that back end step out on acceleration that is really doing him here.
He's really loose through 4 as well. It's not. I don't think we've seen the end of the Audi killing Steve. I really want to see him have a good result for this chat like he deserves.
This could be the one. End it off well, Steve.
If you're going to get killed, at least be a decent kill. Like, at Right, there are battles further down the track. I see the train of 188 of Hudson holding up the rest of Smith, Mimmams, and Shingle. We want to have a little look at that one as well.
Those guys are very close.
There's Saxon Hudson as well. Towards the back of the order, close to the back of Albu. Right, Steve got through the hairpin, so
yeah, very smooth through there. Good job.
Let's get one last look at him through the chicane, and then we'll move on. Our battle elsewhere on track with 5 minutes to go. And actually, Shane Thomas has overtaken Matamune, so Matamune's had a spin, and Thomas is in the lead. Thomas might get his first win.
Oh, the storylines are all coming together now. I was like, I would never hope for someone to have an instant like that who's been doing so well. But Matt Moon has already got his win today. Thomas's turn to step up, and he's been so consistent. If he can just keep a nice run on and do some nice defensive driving from Matamona, he's got 7 minutes left to stay ahead. So that's proof here that it's not just Worrell killed by Audis.
Yeah, Audis are just finding the name next on the list and ticking them off as they go through the order, and it's been
moving through the death note.
Literally, so we've had. So who's left to be killed? So Joseph hasn't been killed yet. Yanaba has, but yeah, all of the rest of them have been. It's just Joseph. So the whole eyes on Joseph. Is that back marker? Lexus.
Oh, and this time Worrell has been killed, but not by the Audi. He was.
Was he killed by a Brenning?
To try and take a little jump into the middle. Brenning has been.
We've just gone back 10 seconds.
For somewhere where you have stewards, but he waited for Worrell to come ahead. But that's a big drop down now. He's behind Koof, and so That means that he is in, I think, 7th place because Brenning has stayed behind him, so they've both dropped down.
Yes, Steve is on the back of Kufon though, so he's looking to make a move into the dreaded hairpin for this Audi. And we've seen what Steve... Oh, it's a little bit... Yeah, it's a little bit slidey, but actually it's not too bad considering some of the hairpins he's taken so far. And he's looking to get a line on Kufon for P6 in the championship. To be fair, P6 is even a solid result for him. We want to jump back to the battle for the lead as well, but there's too much going on. Markowski and Glover move themselves.
Has now got past this back marker as well, so he can catch up to the front two if he can get a little pace on. He's been going really fast in the last stint of this lap as well, and these front two aren't going to be at their top speed because they're going to be taking slightly off lines, so he could come in and make this even more interesting in the last few laps.
There's 7 drivers in this lobby on that have done a 1:44 best lap time in full race fuel.
Fantastic. And luckily for anyone joining next season, 3 of them are getting banned.
Yeah.
So
how it's going to work? We had a little chat about in our moderators chat of how it's going to work. Is basically all the drivers that are in this season will qualify for a certain tier. They can enter the evaluation races if they want to look to be promoted to the tier above where they qualified. They can't go any lower than wherever they qualify effectively. So if you get promoted out of Pro, you're stuck in Silver unless you want to try and qualify back into Pro during the evaluation races. Actually, we're going to have a little look further down the order as we cut my shield off short, which is fine. We're going to have plenty of time for that at the end. And Markowski and Glover are back fighting again, which is I'm not too sure if it's a good thing or a bad thing with these two.
Yeah, it's not good for the speed of their laps, but it's great for us to watch these two very fast drivers, both of whom can be a little bit inconsistent at times. So hopefully they can make it clean.
And watch up to the kink because I can also see that Matamuna is closing in on Thomas as well with 4 minutes left to go. The last race of season 1.
Matamona has been absolutely stuck to Thomas's bumper this whole time since Thomas got past him. Really strong, but hasn't been looking for any big moves. Went a little bit to the inside there, but not really making anything happen. Actually, he just outbroke himself a little bit, but back on it quickly, and I'm sure he will catch up to Thomas again. He just needs to be patient and find a good opportunity.
Oh, we're having another... Okay, that's alright. We've had another one of those. Am I crashing? Has the server crashed? I've lost connection to the server.
You're fine. You just lost a little bit of connection.
I've lost connection to the server.
Absolutely flying.
Quick, commentate while I rejoin the server, because I've lost connection.
Alright.
You tell us what's going on.
Hop in, and I'll keep looking. Luckily for you, nothing's happening right now. So you're not missing much. We still have Matamuna following Shane Thomas. We still have a couple of crowds of drivers. Smith still has a couple of boys behind him, and further down, Worrell also has Shungle, Mimsmam, and Joseph. But I keep hopping back to Matamona and Thomas just to make sure that nothing is happening there that we could miss. And
we're back.
Every time I look at them, it seems like they are the exact same distance apart as they were before.
We are back with 2 minutes 44 to go. That was a little heart attack moment. I'm not going to lie. I've never typed so fast in my life. And Breining's got the job done on Worrell then. This time a lot more legit than it was last time. And Breining finds himself up into P7. He has picked himself up a 5-second time penalty though for causing that incident. If anyone is in the chat, can you let me know that the stream is still connected or not? Because I'm not sure if my internet...
Yep, the stream's still going.
I'm
looking at the stream.
Excellent, good stuff. So... Breining then's past Worrell. He's got. I think he's gone to make that move so that he can grab the 5-second advantage. He's going to need to hold that position. We've got maybe two laps left.
He's going to have to go very fast to hold that position, but he might be able to hold a position behind that he wasn't going to get before. Because those two, Worrell and Hudson, are very close to him. So he's still probably going down to 9th position. But he can keep himself safe from Smith.
Mimmams is really loose through 3. Shungle was looking to attack Smith and then got held back onto defending from Mimmams, and we've just got 3 little packs. So we've got this battle for the lead going on. Then further down, we've got the battle involving Brining, Worrell, and Hudson. And further down that, we've got the battle involving Smith again. It's the Audi. It's the Audi packs. The Audis are leading them, and the cars behind are just getting stuck behind and left to defend for themselves. But
so far, my predictions looking reasonably good. Shungle was a whole half a second quicker than both Matamuna and Thomas on that last lap, as they're both having this incident, and he is closing up with them. If they keep diving like this right now through the chicane, they're both taking awful lines because they're trying to block each other. Matamuna's trying to find his way past. Now they're both onto the straight. Matamuna is pretty close on this one, closer than I think he's been before.
Leader is on the final lap. Give it all you can.
Final lap, and yeah, Thomas feels that way as well because he's going hugely defensive on this run into the first corner. Matamuna diving down to the outside, going to try and get the better run out.
Oh, they nearly touch.
Oh yeah, that was a really nice try from Matamuna, but not going to quite do it as Thomas is going to carry the speed out of that corner.
These guys are obviously the top of the top tier drivers, so I'm not going to question anything. But literally, he grabbed the toe for so long, moved out, Matamuna anyway, on Thomas, moved out into the driving line to make the corner. Obviously, he had the outside line, but it was so early on the brakes, it's just like he lost all the advantage he needed to get around. Like if Jonathan Shingle was in the position Matamuna was, I expect Jonathan Shingle to be in the lead here because he's just so much more confident on the brakes with the AMG. Granted, it's the Audi again, and we're talking about the Audi killing people, which is perfectly viable. But it was just like, yeah, looking on the onboard cam from Matamuna there into the first corner, as Matamuna runs a little bit wide through the kink then, and it's going to all come down to this hairpin, I expect. Or what is Matamuna's flick? Oh, they've had contact then!
Yep, he's binned it. Matamuna went for the all or nothing play at the end, and unfortunately, it is nothing.
There we go then. So that's how it's going to come to fruition. Matamuna looking for the inside on Thomas into the chicane, but it was all over the road. And comes out second best. As Shingle secures himself a P2 by the looks of it. We're just going to wait for the drivers to cross the line. Also going to open up.
I wouldn't be surprised if that gave a Fika podium as well, because it's a pretty outrageous dive going in there. So he definitely could perhaps be looked on sourly by the stewards for that.
So there we go then. Shane Thomas finally gets a win in ACC Sprint Series Top Split. He's been battling for so long to get one, and he finally does. So Robert Brining managed to get himself a 5-second... Wait a sec. Steve Worrell died. Steve Worrell's in P13.
No, he died.
He died on the last lap. Steve.
No.
Steve.
He comes in just ahead of Vladishev in 13th.
Steve. What are you playing at? Right, we're going to go through the top 10 order, and then we can work out. Let me just turn the poll on because I can see people already voting. It is already on. Excellent. So, driver of the day vote. The last one then for the top split. See Shane Thomas for P1. Leonard Shingle for P2. Noah Matamune for P3. Mohamed Afiq for P4. Steve Hughes for P5. Stepan Couton for P6. Robert Brining for P7. Ash Hudson for P8. Jonathan Shingle for P9. And Jermaine Smith for P10. That's going to be your order then.
Just had a little check in the replay. He was coming through the fast kink and he spun.
Oh.
So like half a lap left.
That's the second time as well, because he caught Markowski, didn't he?
Stretch.
That was the second time he's done that, because he's caught Markowski through there as well.
Yeah.
That's really unfortunate. So we're going to do our driver of the day vote, and then we're going to go get some post-race interviews. If you wouldn't mind grabbing Shane and Steve, if possible, if they want to talk. If Steve doesn't, that's perfectly understandable.
Absolutely.
So we just go and grab the post-race interviews then. Last chance to get your driver of the day vote in. Actually, we're going to go back to the game stream because we've got Shane Thomas doing some donuts. Finally gets himself a win. I'm pretty sure that's also going to secure him the championship as well in top split, which is unfortunate because he has been really good with a lot of our drivers, including myself, with helping us learn how to drive. So there we go then. Shane Thomas finally gets his win, and we get some donuts to see that. And also, he also gets driver of the day. So there we go then. That's your... if it comes on?
I'm here.
You're here! Hello!
I am here. Hello.
How are you? You alright?
I'm very good.
You finally got a win!
I know. It took the last race.
It took to the final race. Already done the
So Rob, yeah.
as the stream is slowly coming back to life.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're back.
It's
There we go. The stream is back. It didn't die. Well, it did die, but it's back now. So there we go. We've got the race winner and the preemptive and the preliminary championship winner as well, because I've not seen the results, but I think from past standings, you're up there to take the championship. How was that race for you then, Shane? Now everyone can hear you.
Yeah, it was really good. I mean, like, well, it felt really good to start off with. Like, I didn't feel that I was up to the same pace as the front runners. When race 1, for example, Brenning was putting in low 44s, and I could only sort of break into like high to mid 44s. There was just no way of catching them. Race 2, I'll be honest with you, it was Matamuna who made the mistake, and that's what gifted me P1, but he kind of he caught up to me pretty quickly. But yeah, like overall, I mean, other than that last ditch attempt, I think he tried to make the move on the final overtaking spot, but other than that, I think it went really well, and yeah, I'm happy to have finally won the race this time round.
You're happy to finally see it through to the end and get yourself a win in the end. So well done though, Shay. Thank you for joining us for this season. I hope you if you have won the championship and if you are your band, then I hope you don't just disappear off the face of it. Actually, part of me hopes you do, but I hope you don't. I sincerely hope you don't.
Now to start my career in Formula One, I'd be driving for Mercedes next year.
Yeah. I mean, they need some drivers without any attitude, so you can do it. So you wouldn't fit in. Basically, you wouldn't fit, so you can't. So Steve,
Yeah,
let's move on to Steve. Steve.
Hello.
Are you okay?
Oh. Do you know the worst bit about this is that we're going to have to say goodbye in an official competitive sense to 3 of like the nicest people in the community. That's what I'm most upset about. But actually talking about the race, oh my god! This is my first ever league, ever championship. So I'm just going to put it down to inexperience. But oh mate, I threw away the podium first of all with Shungal. He had a little moment, and then I got third, and I was like, oh okay, this is it. Just behind Shane, which I didn't realise was for the lead. So we would have come out ahead of Matamuna. So that would have been P2. And yeah, I don't know. I knew that flipping hairpin at the end in sector 3. I was like, I knew it was gonna catch me out at some point, and it did. And then not sure. I haven't seen the replay of the incident with me and Robert yet, but I don't think I was at fault. He ended up.
No, you weren't at fault at all.
He got a penalty for it. It was definitely him, and he thought that as well because he's stopped to let you through.
Yeah, he stopped. Let you go. So.
That was good of him. He didn't need to do that, obviously, but yeah. And then I think my head had just gone at that point, and I was just trying to stay within 5 seconds of him.
Yeah.
Just overdrove it in that. I haven't had a problem in that corner all week. and then in race
Cup.
1 I'd spin it, and then it's just a mental thing from
Yeah,
there
exactly.
on.
I think you could see the mental toll it was taking. You could see the mental toll it was taking on you during the race. Because every time you went through it, it just got a little bit looser, and then it got a little bit tighter again, and then it got a little bit loose again.
Yeah, honestly, it was horrible. But I'm rid of the Audi now, thankfully.
And that hairpin killed every Audi. At one
Yeah.
point,
Oh yeah,
I'm pretty
yeah.
sure.
Every Audi
spun in that as well.
I
You
think-
just said he had, like
yeah.
this slow spin.
I think
Yeah.
every Audi except Paul Joseph died this evening at some point. So
I can only apologise to my good friend and teammate Jermaine Schmidt for forcing him into the Audi, which was totally not what he wanted to do. But I was like, no, I think it's all right. Oh my god, I've liked it for about 10% of this championship.
would you like some more bad news? Should we just rip off the band-aid of bad news?
I've made it into the bottom split, haven't you? That's
No,
what you're
you've not made it into the bottom split, but Paul Glover has finished above you in the championship. Actually, should we go?
Sorry, who's Paul Glover?
Yeah, should we go?
He's the guy who's finished ahead of you in the
Yeah,
championship.
so he's more thinking who's Steve Worrell at the moment. No, so actually, while you're here, if you want to, you can stay or leave whatever you want to. We have got the championship standings on the updated ones on screen, courtesy of Julian Straza as ever. Let me just.
Oh, what a legend!
So he's already done the championship standing. I just need to move them onto camera somehow because nobody can see them except me. There we go. Oh, wrong screen to move. We're having a bad day in the office today, Steve. It's been one of them.
Oh, you're having a me?
Yeah, I'm having a you. There we go. We've worked out what we need to move. So there we go. We can see the 3 drivers that have received the first Your Band Hammers: Shane Thomas, Robert Brynin, and Markowski.
Matt J.
Matt J. Markowski
Yeah,
then
Matt J.
are the 3 drivers that have received the first band hammers. Unfortunately, it's going to be sad to not see Shane and Rob and Markowski all racing the championship next season, but they're up there because they deserve to be up there.
Yeah.
Luckily,
and-
the first 3 drivers we lost are 3 drivers who are in pretty much all of the community races. So
Yeah, exactly.
We should still see them quite a bit.
So
Yeah, I hope so.
they'll still be kicking around next season. Unfortunately, Shane will still be here. And then.
Dan,
Yeah.
Dan, just quickly, like you rightly said, if we carry on at the rate that we are, and by Christmas we could have a Legends band tournament.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds
That'd be
great.
really good. So if you look at the splits for Bathurst, the top 10 are Shane, Robert Bryan, Markowski, Lupiaz, Matamuna, Kufon, Hughes, Shungle, Afik, Lysin. They all see themselves in the top split for Bathurst in 2 weekends, or 2 weeks today. Even I believe is Bathurst. And then Shingle, Jonathan Shingle, Joseph, Hudson, Sachs, Mimmams, Glover, Smith, Andrews, Worrell, and Yanapa all see themselves in the middle split, which would be good because I get to race alongside Steve. And Steve gets to race alongside Webb. It's the battle of attrition in that one. And then Yanapa, Grealish,
Very
Becker.
excited for Bathurst because it's been a while since I've been obliterated by Albu, and I'll be able to lose to him again.
Yeah, so in the bottom split for Bathurst is going to be Grealish, Becker, Albu, Bludyshev, Dave Jesser, Ollie Venner, Hutchinson, Yalatu, Daly, Bruce, and then sadly the 3 drivers that have qualified for silver and been relegated from the top split this season, which are Stefan Bunatics, Mohamed Akram, and Arvidas Kelmanes, have all been demoted into silver.